Hello everybody, me once again, if you're on Voobly official Twitch, because we've had an admin ring and a re before that. But anyway, we are in the Nomad Battlegrounds, best of five, $101,500 total prize pool, semifinals part of the tournament. I am joined here by Demise. It's his first cast on Voobly official, and I will start to introduce the teams. We will have, for the Frantic team, Tim playing as the Mongols. He's placing his town center on the bottom side of the map. And in yellow, we have playing as the Chinese CL.
Yeah. And then we also have Villese and TheMax. And let me just see. TheMax getting his position just in the center of the map, kind of in the center of the map, with his gas. Good position there. And we got Villese here with the Persians, more on the northern part of the map.
Yeah, so they'll be in the middle. Meanwhile, on the left and right sides, kind of on either side of the Max, we'll have Tim and CL. What do you think about these town center positions?
Do you mean the town center positions of CL and TM?
Either team.
Come again? I'm so sorry, I didn't hear that.
Either team.
Oh, either team. So yeah, as we said about the Persian and the Goths, so Villese and Max, they need to, you know, with this composition, it would make sense in order to go for the center and, you know, gain some map control over that by taking over the center and working their way then out to the sides of the map. So that makes sense, especially with the Goths, if they go for some castle action. And yeah, the others, they're on the sides, so really, also interesting way to do this, to start on the sides. Not very sure if they will make that, you know, views. Not sure. Well, let's see about this.
So from looking at the maps, CL has a lot of space. He has a lot of resources as well. Not as much food, but he's got plenty of stone, gold, wood, and space. He's going to drop his dock, it looks, somewhere in the north. So I like his position. However, his teammate Tim also has gold and stone and wood, but does not have a lot of space to expand. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tim going more aggressive onto the Max. And with any situation like this, of course, you have to ask yourself, is CL just going to boom? Is he going to attack the Max, or is he going to attack Villese? And how that dynamic is going to work out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so CL has all the chances he wants to in order to do this boom, because as you said it, the resources are really close to him. 2 stone piles, also gold, 3 stone piles, also this gold on the hill there. So those are, I don't know, I mean, it's a little bit too much of some 4 stone piles all in all. That's a lot of stone. Not sure what's he gonna do with all of that, but yeah, he could use it's more likely to go for a boom than for Tim, because as I said correctly, his resources are not the very best for a boom, so maybe he could do that.
And the last player we have yet to introduce, we have Villese. He's got some good food next to his town center. He does have gold and stone somewhat close to it, although the gold is a little bit farther away. And he would have to go towards the top left of the map in order to boom. So it is definitely possible. However, I see them going more aggressive. Overall, I see the Finnish team having to go more aggressive because of their positions. And CL is basically the only player that might feel a little bit more safer booming. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Players, of course, have their docks up by the stage of the game and will be doing some good fishing.
Exactly. So far I haven't seen any huge mistake by neither of them. No one has lost a villa or something. That's good for all of them.
I find it kind of interesting. The Max is building his house next to Villese. Might want to be placing a dock there, and if he hasn't already, doesn't look like he has. So they're going to go up towards the north. The Max already has another dock on the top right here. So maybe they're going to be focusing more on the north. Also in the north, we have CL's dock. And down in the south, we have 2 very close docks together. We have Tim and Villese next to each other. So they certainly will want to go for fast feudals and be able to attack each other right away. I'm a little curious to see if the Mongols player or the Persians player would be able to get up faster.
Yeah, it would make sense if they go up faster. I mean, the Goths, I mean, as we said numerous times now, I see them shine on the Castle Age, and it would be good for them if they progress as fast as possible and reach Castle Age as fast as possible, and, you know, focus on probably the land, not the water. And if they go for that, and if they succeed, it would be really good for them.
Oh, this is kind of interesting. We were talking about how the Goths are a civilization that really likes to boom, likes to get a castle out, and likes to go heavy into the castle age. So that's a little bit hard when you're sandwiched in between two players with not a lot of space there.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. I mean, if you look at the position of the Goths now, here, really in the center, nearly in the full center of the map, he has a lot of space in order to, you know, do this boom if he wants to. And as we can see, the others, they don't want to attempt to attack really in the close time. If we look at the fact that, yeah, Tim has walled up his base, yeah, so that's actually, that could be an advantage of Max, because for Max, I mean, because he could make use of this, that Tim is actually playing a bit more passive right now, and he could make use of the time and, you know, go up as fast as possible. That could be true. But yeah.
So Tim is our first player up to the next age by far. He's got absolutely no more villagers on food. He's all wood and gold, so he's going to go for a very heavy galley rush, and he's also walled off his side of the map. So I would not be surprised at all to see Villese losing all of his fishing ships, and I have to assume every other player in this matchup, since they're not up yet, might be going for a fast castle.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Tim's nearly fuel age now, and he will be able to get up those galleys. And yeah, it will be quite tough if Villese doesn't expect all of this to happen. He will indeed lose all of his fishing ships, and this could hurt him really, really a lot if he counts on his fishing ships, which he does, I guess. I mean, considering the fact that he has a lot of fishing ships there, it will be quite a hurtful move there.
So I'm going to keep my eyes on Villese's resources. We know at this stage all of the players are going for fast castles. I just saw Villese luring in another boar, which is yet another indication for a fast castle. So we'll see how many resources he has by the time he's up to the feudal age with these galleys coming out of Tim, and see if he's able to make a clean fast castle.
Yeah. The same goes for Max. I mean, he had his 3 boars really, really early on in the game, and he goes for some gold now. He has like 5 villages on gold now, building up this mining camp. Let's see what he's going to do with that.
CL also walling his side of the map, so the Chinese players are known for a few different play styles. They like to be hyper-aggressive sometimes, and they also sometimes like to be a little hyper-defensive, in my opinions.
That's true. I mean, how would you call this? Hyper-aggressive and hyper-defensive, right? And what would be their, you know, options then? I mean, it seems that CL, you know, is walling up, and as you said, it's not maybe the most aggressive stance there. What do you think he's gonna do? I mean, will he just go for a fast castle now and then, you know, get up his Jukanu's maybe?
Well, quite honestly, I mean, you know, Tim is doing some great damage onto the Max. I would just go for a boom as CL, maybe try to keep map control, keep water control, and take it from there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now that you mention it, Tim is in there in max base and doing some early harassment and good harassment with the scouts there. And actually, Max is struggling in order to defend all of this, because as we see it, the walling was not successful, and the scouts are able to cause a lot of idle time there.
I was not at all expecting the towers and the scouts from Tim. I thought he was just going to do some damage on the land, and that's it. We see now the Max is not able to fast castle at all with all of this aggression coming in. This has been a really successful feudal age for Tim. And oh, here's the quick wall coming up though! Are the scouts going to be able to get in? Oh, there's one hole here, and oh boy, this could be really, really bad for Tim.
That's true, that was not good of Tim. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind that Max has used all of his villages now in order to defend his base, which means that there's a lot of idle time there, while, yeah, Tim's still able to do some more stuff with his eco. But as you said it, Max did quite well by defending all of this.
Man, this is a lesson for players. If you go forward with towers, you need to make sure either your army's with your villagers, or you need to have your first tower safe. That was a very aggressive tower from Tim. Obviously, he felt confident with the scouts, but some great quick micro with those gates from the Max really saved him there, and he could have been in a lot more trouble than he is. He's still in quite a bit of trouble. He's not able to get up to the next age anytime soon, but at least he prevented that tower from going up. That tower would have been devastating.
Yeah, that really saved him. This action saved him a lot. And now he's not out of the game yet. and he has, you know, chances in order to progress. But still, the damage is done, and we can see it at the score. Max is far behind, and especially behind Tim. You know, Tim being the aggressor of this, it seems that he, you know, had a bit more advantage here in all of this, but it could have been worse for Max, you said it correctly. And he still doesn't stop. As we see it, there's another tower being built now, the south of the map of Max.
Yeah, that's where the first tower should have been. We have Villese coming out with some very strong Persian knights. He's the first into the Castle Age. And with that, I think he'll be able to shut down this tower pressure. This tower might be another loss. It looks like he's going to save all the villagers, though, because Villese is not paying attention. And, yeah, I wouldn't use those scouts to attack that knight. But I think right now, Tim should probably either go up to the next age, or he should either start slinging. He needs to do something not, you know, not what he's doing right now, because he's not going to be able to do any much more with those knights in.
Yeah, that's true. He needs to retreat and finds another option to cause some more trouble there. And he still goes for the towers, unfortunately, so he doesn't want to stop doing that. I think it's not the very best option. You're right.
And looking at Tim's resources, he has no resources in the bank. Getting fletching right now just to be able to defend. Now the Max is kind of counter-towering him a little bit. Maybe that's just defensive. It's kind of hard to tell. But Tim is heavily invested in the feudal age. He won't be up for some time.
That's true, that's true. And you're saying it correctly. There's some counter towers there indeed by Max. So he does well by striking back and pressuring Tim a bit, at least. I mean, at least for this tower there. Unfortunately, that wasn't a wood line of Tim, so there's not too much damage done by Max. But it's a good way in order to keep Tim away for the next couple of minutes there.
And I'm going over to CL's perspective. CL has been in the Castle Age for about a minute now, and he's gone double stable knights. I did notice Villese using a flare to indicate that, so he's well aware that CL is going double stable knights. Going to go down to the south and attack Tim. This was one of the big questions this game, is where does CL decide to attack? Right now they're kind of double teaming the Max, although Tim is really a non-factor, except for a few of his scouts. So they're going to put some damage on him. However, the Max should be able to wall up and have his little colony here, as well, a little bit of support from Villese.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you look at the scouts of Tim, they're still doing a little bit of damage there. And, you know, he makes the best out of them. Now, it's not the best thing to go for the towers there with the scouts. And, yeah, with CL's knights now, let me see if they're fully teched now. No, they're not teched at all yet. Both knights, I mean...
Oh, coinage! We got our first sling of the game coming in.
There we go, coinage. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with this decision. We talked about how the Goths are a civilization where you like to boom with them, where they kind of don't do so well when they're a little bit behind. So I think this might be a good decision to go and sling the Persians. Typically, the Persians are a very good civilization to sling because, you know, going into Paladins could be a very strong unit.
Yeah, that's true indeed.
And Tim also teching into coinage. I like this decision at this stage of the game for these teams. So now what we're left with essentially a 1 versus 1. It's going to be a Persians versus Chinese war. Who wins in that matchup?
Good question. I mean, we have to, you know, pay attention to the fact that CL is going for knights. And if we got a knight war going on, I guess the Persians would be shining in this very matchup there.
I agree there. The Persians, of course, going to be able to get +2 attack versus archers on their knights, and more importantly, the paladin upgrade. However, for the Chinese still have access to halberdier, which are a little easier to tech into, and also some pretty good monks. So really, it's about that versatility for the Chinese player. And Villese going to try to go up with an aggressive castle. Doesn't have the army count yet to go with that. Hopefully, we can see some good conversions from him, and that might be able to allow him to place a more aggressive castle.
We also saw the first sling going on there. CL receives quite some resources there, and that's maybe a way to win this war against the Persians, because he has the advantage in economy then.
And CL going up with 5 stables right now. This would be impossible to do without a sling. Gonna place a defensive castle right now, so that way that crazy castle from Villese doesn't get up, where there's no chance of that castle from getting up. A few good monk pickoffs by CL. I didn't see if he got too many conversions, but he was able to kill 2 or 3 monks. And these players are so close to each other that it's really... This game might be quite aggressive from here on out.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's all about the conversions as well. You said correctly. I mean, if you get the conversion, that's such an advantage. But also killing a monk, it's an advantage too. That's a lot of gold down the drain. So let's see how they will micro their monks as well in this war.
As far as villagers right now, they're pretty much dead even between the two slung players. Tim is a little bit more dead than the Max, although if you look at fishing, that kind of makes up for it. So overall, the economies of every player at this stage of the game is even. Here comes some more Wololos from these monks. Villese is going to try to really get this castle up, and he's going to have more army count for now. And I don't see any more knights from CL, so it looks like he's going to go up to the Imperial Age. Do you like this decision?
To be honest, yes, because why? He has his castle up, and he can get up his Chukanus, and when he takes them up completely, they will be quite devastating. Especially we have to keep in mind that they fire multiple arrows there, and you know, tanky units, even they are in danger then. And I guess it's a very good decision. Fully tech Chukanus, I like to see them.
I like the decision for a different reason. I like the ability to go trebuchets here, and I think also I think feeling walled, since he's walled in with the castle, he feels fairly safe on defending for the next few minutes. However, I would like to see CL actually go for maybe the heavy camel line instead of the Chukanus line. Obviously, he's going to be making trebuchets, only has one castle, so I don't know if Chukanus are going to be the most legitimate option, especially against a huge horde of knights.
That's true, you're absolutely right, but we see that he goes for Chukanus at the moment, therefore I'm not sure he decides, you know, he also gets fletching now at the moment, so maybe he really attempts to attack them. But you're right. Actually, camels make sense, and I saw one or two camels here in this fight between the two knight groups here, but he goes for the Chukanus, it seems.
I'm a little bit concerned about CL. He's not making any more military at the stage of the game. He has very low food count for whatever reason, and he could quickly get overwhelmed if Villese keeps pumping knights and decides to do a run-by in his base. 5 Chukanus not going to be able to stop some well-upgraded knights. Although that said, Villese still has no upgrades on his knights.
Yeah, that's true as well. No updates at all, you know? Just the regular defense and regular attack. That's not, you know, if you go for knights, and if you commit into knights, you should definitely go at least for the +2 armor. But now that we see it, why he didn't tech up those knights yet, because he also attempts to go to Imperial Age, and that's important as well.
Yes, but quite a bit slower than CL. At least the Persian Town Center bonus will help him get up a little bit quicker. As far as this castle, this trebuchet war is going to go, I wouldn't be surprised to see CL take down this castle before it's even before Villese is even into the Imperial Age. Luckily for Persians, their castles are really not that important. What is important for Villese, though, is to build as many knights as possible and to get as many upgrades as possible.
That's true as well. I mean, you said correctly, the castle is not that important for Persians. They serve only for defensive or offensive reasons, by, you know, being there, by existing and shooting arrows and being strong, you know, tanky stuff. But they don't make use of the units coming from the castle, therefore he should go for more knights, but I don't see any more knights, man. There's just those couple of knights there with the monks.
This might be a reflection of how weak these slings are. Obviously, the Max and Tim were kind of forced into these slings because they inflicted so much damage onto each other, and yeah, not really they're not really giving them the full impact of the sling.
That's very true.
And there's the GG right there. Gonna call it right there as CL and Tim gonna take over. Apparently the sim match didn't play too much into effect, but what did occur is that CL was able to get up to the next age much quicker, take map control, and able to take out those castles with trebuchets, as well as a very good massive monks to counter out any cavalier that Villese would like to make. What do you think are some of the keys to this game?
The keys to the game, that's a good question. I mean, most importantly, CL went to Imperial Age first. That's one thing. But also, I'm not very, you know, I'm not even sure how to call it. I mean, the army of Villese at the moment, only a couple of knights there. I mean, that was a huge mistake. I'm not sure what he could have done better maybe the slinging was really important for CL in order to get up his army as fast as possible, also to reach Imperial Edge as fast as possible. I guess the slinging was key, the biggest key here.
One of those big things in the early game that we didn't talk too much about was Tim taking out all of the fish of Villese. Villese maybe made like 10, 11, 12 fishing ships that were all taken out very early by Tim and his fast feudal age. So that certainly gave them a nice advantage there. We of course saw a little bit of a throw by losing a lot of his villagers, so that allowed the Max to get back a little bit there. And overall, maybe just a stronger sling from Tim with those fishing ships might have paid off in the end.
Yeah, that's true as well.
And with that, let's go on to Game 2 in this series between two of the highest seeded and closest seeded players in this tournament. And one thing I forgot that would have been nice to check would be the difference in the amount of resources slung.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't pay attention to that now, in the end. But I've seen, let me lie a bit. I mean, I guess there were 5 huge transactions there of slinging, so I guess that had some impact. I guess it was, I mean, not very sure, but probably about, I'm not sure, like 800 goldish, something like this, because I've seen some huge amounts of gold being slung every time. So maybe that was enough in order to get up more knights and also more monks, and especially reaching Imperial Age way faster than.
All right, welcome everybody to the stream. We have 200 viewers. Jesus,
Yes.
that's double from last week, surprisingly. And the Viper's not even playing. That's great. Hello everybody. I'm joined here first cast with Dem Red Eyes. I call him Dem Eyes sometimes. And we're watching some pretty good games. This series should be pretty even. Again, number 6, number 7 seed. These guys are very good. And yeah, in this next game, we're going to switch civilizations from game 1 and see if the civilizations had anything to do with this game.
That's true. Maybe we will see the Goths shining right now. Who knows? I mean, we talked about it a lot. I would see some Goth action there. I mean, maybe they know better now how to deal with that. Maybe they had the time to, you know, play against the Goths and also thinking, if we get the Goths in a couple of minutes, how should we play with them?
It's all about that position. In this case, the Goths getting battered early on didn't shine so much, so it could really depend on those positions of the players.
That's true. Positioning, everything. Let's see if someone goes for the center this time. Really for the center. Alright then.
I mean, 1 second, I have to get in my game because I had to pause the music.
All good, all good.
And here we go, you could go with introductions.
Okay, let me see real quick. I mean, as I'm very new to this, I'm first of all excited where they will land with their TCs. But let's start first of all. So we got on the left hand side Max with the Chinese, bottom left hand side of the map, placing his TC over there. And what about the others? I don't see any of them. Oh yeah, there's CL now with the Persians on the top left hand side of the map. And finally we also see Villese very close to the Max there. I mean, not too close though, with the Mongols. And finally on the right hand side, just him, Tim with the Goths.
Yeah, look, so Tim and CL, they're over kind of in the north-ish of the map, and then over in the south we have the Max and Villese. Sometimes it just takes a second to get yourself oriented. So very close town center positions for the Max and Villese, and on the right, kind of more farther away, we have Tim and CL. These are of course the number 6 and number 7 seed. My name is Nobody, this is Dem Red Eyes, and this should shape up to be an exciting game. And which civilizations in these particular positions this game do you favor?
well, now that we've seen the first match there, I'd go for Chinese and Mongols again. I mean, just, you know, the matchup with the Persians and Goths, they need to be really fast and efficient. But this time we have to also keep into consideration that, you know, Tim, the Goth guy, on the right hand side of the map is kinda alone over there. So I guess this time, maybe this time, we will see the Goth and the Persian shine, because the Goth player has all the space that he needs in order to go for a boom and maybe to do some heavy castle aggression there.
I was about to say that these two civilizations, the Persians and Goths, they love to boom. What do you need to boom? You want a little bit of space, and you don't want to be anywhere near your opponents, and that's completely true for Tim. Of course, one thing to keep in mind will be the dock positions. Tim will place his dock in the top right side, and he will be pretty close to the Max, who has placed his dock also in the top right side. However, the Max is playing as Chinese, not nearly as aggressive as the Mongols, like we saw last game. And we'll have to see what kind of strategy the Max decides to go for, if he decides to go for a feudal rush, or he decides to go for a fast castle. Where is our Mongols player's dock? His dock is all the way in the bottom left, so it shouldn't be able to threaten anybody anytime soon, even if he gets his fast Mongol imp, feudal age.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, his dock seems to be safe. That's an advantage for him. He can go and get some food. And yeah, early feudal, heavy feudal aggression there is possible. And he's not that far away from the others. If we look at the distance between Villese and CL, I mean, it's quite some distance still. But if he finds out about his positioning there, he'll be able to go there as fast as possible.
And this is the crazy thing about Nomad. Nomad is such a variable map, especially with, you can place town centers and docks in random positions, resources are distributed randomly. The map looks different every time, and it's such a crazy map that it's hard to predict, just based off the civilizations, how things will play out. Because there's so many different map variables, and that's one of the things I love about Nomad. It's one of the crazier maps that we get to see that's in the standard map pool, and I'm really glad we have a tournament to shine a spotlight onto this crazy, unique map.
That's very true. I couldn't agree anymore, because in which map else do you see villagers luring the deer and pushing the deer into the TC, man? That's something else. Really cool to see that.
Mega Random's really the only map that comes close, but that's not really a competitive map. So let's look a little bit at their fishing. We see the Max up into 2 fish, Tim up to 1, down in the bottom left, 2 fish for Villese, and top CL Persians 3 fish. Some players might be wanting to add a second dock soon, and the big question right now is, will players go for a feudal rush, or will they go for a fast castle?
That's true indeed. I mean, for Tim, it's kind of obvious. I mean, it would make sense if he goes for castle. But if we look at Villese, as you said correctly, his food income is quite stable there, and it won't be harmed anytime soon, I guess. If nothing too special, too surprising happens. So I could see him go for feudal aggression there. Especially, he has the Mongols, therefore we can see something from them. We can expect a lot from them in the feudal age. Not sure though. I mean, for CL, at least, I mean, look at his position of this TC. He has a lot of deer there. He's gathering some food from the boar. He has another boar on the left-hand side, a lot of deer, the bushes, some sheep still using in order to scout. So he has the chances also to go up really, really fast and really efficiently to the next stage. I'm not sure, man. I mean, there are a lot of... I mean, for CL and Tim, there are a lot of chances to go Castle Age.
I love to just nitpick players, especially professional players, when I ever can. But one thing I do want to mention, I know you're playing as Mongols, Villese. You have a big deer patch on the left side, maybe even a little bit of shore fish. But for me, if Villese wanted to go for a fast feudal, I think it would have been better off just taking those sheep and avoiding that idle time. Maybe I'm wrong, but because Villese will be able to click up now. But do you agree with that?
I mean, true. I mean, you're absolutely right. It could be a way to go up really faster in order to be, I mean, while being more efficiently, but he didn't do it, so, yeah.
Tiny detail, but I just love taking any detail and just nitpicking the pro players for it, make me feel a little bit better about my own play.
Yeah,
so
exactly. always a good thing to do.
Anyway, he's going up with a mining camp of all things, so not surprising that he's going to go with some galleys. But, never mind, I was thinking him and the Max were not on the same team. So he's going to go Galley Rush right away. Not surprising at all. No surprises anywhere.
Yeah, so far, no surprises. Interesting though, CL's wall there, the palisade wall, quite a big wall there. So he doesn't want to get interrupted anytime soon. It looks like he wants to go for the fast castle over there. He's clicked up the latest now, 12 minutes there. So it certainly looks like that. He has the possibilities to do that, but I'm not very sure.
Yeah, so once again, these civilizations are kind of showing a little bit of a play style. Really, only the Mongols player is the only one that wants to go for this fast feudal. The rest of the players really want to go for their fast castles. We'll have the Max coming up first, followed by Tim. And with that, since their docks are so close together, we should see a little bit of a galley battle. Not too much time between them, however.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just looking at all the TCs there. If there's something special, but you're right. I mean, the rest is going for some fast castle. A lot of gold being gathered from everyone, nearly. Everyone but Villese. Therefore, let's see what he's gonna do, you know?
I'm a little curious. Tim has gone up to the next stage, but I don't think he's actually seen the dock of the Max, which is very interesting. Going over to the Max's point of view, I'm not exactly sure he's seen the dock of Tim also. However, they're both... oh, he's got a rally point right at the dock, so he must have noticed it somehow.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see if something's gonna happen there. I mean, they're so close to each other there.
Yeah, and Tim's noticed too. I don't know how they noticed, because I don't see the dock anywhere. Maybe they saw a villager walking to build it. I'm kind of curious about that. But either way, we'll have a fire galley war in the bottom right here.
Alright, so the Max has clicked up for Castle Age. And yeah. What do you think he's going to go for? I mean, he's not getting any stone so far. Just gold.
Yeah, with that amount of gold, I would not be surprised at all to see... Well, he's gone market up. So no barracks. Oh boy, are we gonna see maybe a monk play or something like along those lines? That's a lot of gold to be taking.
That's true. That reminds me of some arena play there, you know, where people tend to go for a smush. And certainly looks like that, but maybe, who knows, maybe he just wants to sling, but for that his map is too exposed, not walled at all, so probably he will do something military-wise with his gold, and no slinging there. But good call with the market there.
So it looks like a little bit of mutual destruction with the fishing ships here on the right. We'll keep an eye on that as that develops. As those fire ships take out more and more of those fishing ships. Right now, pretty even. Tim may be doing a little bit more damage, but Tim only has 4 fish on the water, so not huge advantage for him. Some players advancing to Castle Age, and we'll see what kind of plays they decide to go for.
Exactly. I'm just wondering about Tim. I mean, he hasn't clicked up yet, did he? No, he didn't. And I don't see too much of action. I'm not even sure what he wants to achieve with all of this. I mean, he goes for heavy woods and a bit of food there, so he maybe wants to be active on water, but besides that, I don't see anything. At least from Tim.
Yeah, well, Tim might be thinking about going up to the next stage. You know, he's fully walled. Could think about a sling. However, the Max, as we predicted earlier on, taking a lot of gold without a military building. He's playing as a Chinese and decided to go siege monk rush, and these walls are not going to hold for very long without any support from CL.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't see it. Tim was actually going for gold there on the north of his map, where the bars are as well. So yeah, that's true. So he is actually up to something.
And right now, it's important that CL realizes that his teammate is in trouble, and I think the best option for him would be Scout Cavalry. However, CL right now, going up with his first barracks, doesn't have a hell of a lot of a food economy. He has 8 fishing ships, which is good, but he'll certainly need more. Getting a scale barding armor, and we have Tim making coinage right now. Exactly. He could be in a bit of trouble.
That's very true. That's very true. I mean, we also need to pay attention to the fact that the distance between Tim and CL is quite huge there, you know? So if CL wants to help anytime soon, he needs a long time to go all the way in order to reach his mate over there. So let's see.
And already 2 mangonels, 2 monks coming in through Tim's walls. Panic mode now for Tim as all of his resources are completely exposed. He's going to drop a barracks of his own, which is not great. He's supposed to be slinging. He's not supposed to be defending himself. We need to see Tim come in here real quick with scouts in order to keep this game even.
Yeah, so we see the stable from CL coming, but I guess that's even way too late, because there are 2 mangonels, as you've mentioned, and a couple of monks there. So if he wants to come with some scouts, it'll be over for the TC till then.
Yeah, this TC already halfway down. If you're Tim, just run, man, run right now to the north side of the map. There's nothing left for you here. No more scouts left. CL getting foraging right now, but still no scouts out on the field.
Oh god, there goes the TC.
Yeah, down goes the town center. Tim running for his life. Luckily, these units are very slow and they won't be able to chase. So Tim will be able to rebuild. He's lost a lot of farms, lost a lot of infrastructure here, and that will definitely put his sling behind. Meanwhile, we have Villese is still in the feudal age. I don't believe he's slinging. I didn't see coinage come in. No, going to Castle Age, we have 2 Castle Age players essentially against another Castle Age player who's not really receiving any sort of sling at all.
That's true, that's true. So I'm just wondering how Tim will come out of this situation without being, you know, GG'd anytime soon. Because he will go for the sling, he will continue to do the sling. He goes for, I mean, he doesn't attempt to build a TC anytime soon, he just goes for the wood now. With his mass migration there, he also gets a lot of stone and gold. But yeah, and there we see the scouts of CL incoming now. They've managed to get 1 mangonel there, but if he does...
Here comes the conversions. These are very important. 1 piece of wall not getting deleted by Tim. That's a little bit of misplay. Awesome mangonel shot. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Killing 2 scouts. And that's a huge win for the Max. He's able to continue to push in now.
Wow, that was really good. That was really good. CL didn't manage to get all of the monks, just 1 monk.
Oh, but a lucky knight sneaking through, and there's no more faith on those monks, so we'll be able to get 2 more monks. They're going to run back real slowly. And those knights could clean up everything if we don't see another great conversion coming in here. And they're going to run back.
Wow. So I'm not very sure if it was the best decision to go for knights now. I mean, he needs knights in general. I mean, I'm talking about CL now. He needs the knights in general in order to have some dangerous army there, but the monks will be able to deal with that, especially if the numbers are up again with the monks.
This is such a bad position for the Frantic team. As this all was going on, all this action going on, we saw CL actually lose all of his fishing ships to the galleys of Villese. So that might have hurt CL's food economy quite a bit there, which is why we don't see more knights at the stage. Right now, CL needs to get back in this game, get some great raiding done. Not going to find any ratings under this town center. Maybe you'll find it under this left town center, and it doesn't look like it.
At least his knights got some text this time. It's +1, so that's not perfect. I mean, in order to go beneath town centers, I'd always go for +2 defense. But he still tries it out now, and he tries to get some, and he manages to get some villages there. But at the same time, he's also sacrificing his knights.
This could potentially be a good raid as these villagers kind of run all the way around. I want to address a question in the chat, which was regarding what slinging is. Basically, slinging is sending your opponent resources. There is a tax on it, but the reason it's really strong in Age of Empires is because it takes a lot of resources to go up to the next age. And by giving those resources to someone who's already in the next age, they can make a much stronger army than you two could individually.
Exactly.
So it's a really strong strategy in Age of Empires team games, but in some situations, not as strong in other situations. Frantic getting really aggressive, placing a town center here, and siege workshop, and we know that Frantic needs to do the damage now. They need to even up this villager number and this tactic disadvantage with 2 Castle Age players.
That's true. I mean, at least CL has a decent number of knights, also 1 camel there, a couple of monks. That's good. I mean, he needs to do this now. If he didn't do this, it would be over by now. But he's getting up those knights. Numbers are going up and up. He has a lot of stables there, so he goes for the action now. Villese is in trouble now.
Yeah, in the previous game, we talked about the potential strength of the Persian sling with the great economy and some great knights. However, one thing that you're maybe neglecting a little bit is the Max is moving in on the right side, has 4 monks, so mangonels can really do some damage here.
Yeah, true.
Oh, and great, a castle came up from Villese. That'll really help to prevent these CL from getting inside these walls.
Yeah, that's true indeed. The Max is approaching really close there, and this TC will be GG as well very soon, if CL doesn't help him out there. There we go.
So CL moving to the north to address this should be able to cleanly, you know, pick this off. However, his attention is no longer focused on Villese, so won't really be able to do economy damage. Here comes 4 conversions, and it looks like maybe only 1 or 2 were converted. So that's not too bad. We'll see cleanup by CL, but the question is, where does it go from here?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he manages to get rid of the army of the Max, but at the same time now, Villese is safe again. He had the time with the stone walls to build up his castle. Now his base seems way safer now. Therefore, yeah, CL didn't manage to get into his base, and Villese is continuing to boom.
And I have to ask myself, why has the Max not walled himself off? It's a very easy wall to get between the wood lines and the stable, and now a bunch of knights rolling in. The players not really making that much of a defense. We see a few monks, but no pikemen. Right now we're just relying on Mangadai, which is good in the late game, but in the short term, Mangadai with no upgrades are really not going to be able to contend with well-upgraded Persian knights.
Exactly. I mean, Mangadais are really cool, and they can kite well, but you're right, without any upgrades it will be quite difficult.
I mean, this could be a decision that loses them the game, not being able to wall this. They had all the opportunity in the world to be able to do so, and yet they chose to play this greedy.
That's very true. That's very true. I mean, you said correctly. You could have walled this one up really easily with the stables there. Just connect them with the wood lines there. Didn't happen.
And someone else mentioning in the chat, which is correct, Tim still has a high population. Didn't really lose any villagers in that raid, so at least that's going to help. CL a little bit. Most of Tim's sling, it looks like, is going to be wood though, wood and gold. So not so much food, which is usually what's in need. Tons of knights from CL though.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't expect this to happen. So many knights, and also they're well teched there. +2 defense, that's really good.
Yeah, these Mega Knights are really not going to do anything against +2 knights at this stage of the game. Right now, CL thinking about going into Imperial Age, even getting a Mangadai conversions, which is huge. And this could potentially be the end of the Max. The Max needs a castle, or he needs something to defend himself.
That's true. That's really impressive. I didn't expect this at all. And now we see it's CL's clicking up for Imperial Age, while Villese is trying to get Botkin Arrow there in order to improve his Mangadai. But I guess it's a little bit too late there. Even though he's clicking up as well now. Okay.
Yeah, so in a sense, early on in this game, the Chinese team taking a big advantage, and then a mistake from the Finnish team allowing this game to be a little more even at this stage. We now have 2 players going into the Imperial Age. We have Villese and CL. Do you think Villese will be able to be enough of a contender to keep the Max in this game?
That's a good question, but if we look at the numbers of Mangadais there, and I expect him to go for more Mangadais, it'll be quite difficult, because we have to keep in mind that Mangadais are being produced from castles, and so far I only see 2 castles from Villese, and a lot of knights and a lot of stables that produce knights by CL, and I think it's not gonna be possible.
Yeah, talking about these army compositions, the Mangadai requires a lot of upgrades. It requires castles to be built, whereas the Persian Knights don't require upgrades. There's a built-in civ bonus against Mangadai there. However, 2 castles will be able to help prevent the raids. They're in not the best position because they don't have great map control right now, but it will be able to save at least a portion of the Max's economy. About half of the Max's economy has been ripped up as far as space is concerned, and he's down to 60 villagers now, half of Villese's economy.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the crucial point there. the population difference is too extreme there. And also the castles, they afford a lot of idle time again, so CL and Tim actually able to, you know, proceed even more with their economy. At the same time, still score-wise, Villese quite impressive, I must say. I didn't expect him to be still that strong, but I guess that's mostly because he was able to defend his base really well there with some walling. Therefore,
Yeah, that's the power of the sling. You know, CL not even up to the recommended 120 villager number yet, getting Cavalier, and also on the top right, cleaning up the Max's town center and potential raiding opportunity with those stables. So that's a good call from him, splitting up his knights a little bit. He's going to go back for now, get the Cavalier upgrade, and we'll see if he pushes in with Cavalier or decides to tech into Paladin first.
Yeah, true. Villese getting chemistry, husbandry, so he goes for full Mangadai there.
Ah, no, heavy camel too.
Oh, there we go. Good choice.
It's good for a meat shield, but the thing is, all of these technologies cost a lot of resources. It's going to be very hard. Should be mentioned as well, if you're a classic AOC player, which I know a lot of you on Voobly Official were here and watched a lot of AOC games, as I did. But the Mangadai had been nerfed in one key way, the Elite Mangadai, in that their firing delay has been reduced. Yep. And before, when they had no firing delay, they could pick off Paladins one by one and keep running away and never get touched. Now with that firing delay, they're not able to do so as well.
Unfortunately, you're right. But that was maybe...
Fortunately, unfortunately, depends who you ask. So this is looking pretty bleak. 3 castles for Villese. 1 is about to go down. He's going to try to save it a little bit with those Mangadai. And for now, CL is going to have to back off. But CL might still get this castle. And Paladin coming in. Here comes the Paladin upgrade. And gonna lose a few knights. I know what CL is doing. CL is trying to keep the Mangadai from going in and attacking in the trebuchet. However, can't really do that without losing too many knights. And he's just gonna... you know, gonna let Villese take that trebuchet right now. Paladin almost done, plus 4 armor's almost done. This is a little bit of a waste of fight. I don't think CL can afford to take this fight right now.
That's true, but as you said correctly, he wanted to keep those Mangadais away now, and now they're able to enter his base.
This is huge, as the Finnish team now retakes the score. And that was a very poor engagement from CL, just kind of standing there, not really doing a lot of damage, running back and forth, trying to distract the Mangadai, but losing a lot of Cavalier in the process. Now, that is a huge mass of Mangadai. The castle is still up and building. Those Mangadai can maybe take on those Paladins now.
At the moment they can indeed, that's true.
So from CL, we need to see more Paladins coming out. Right now, I just see this small group on the left, trying to raid on the right, but there's tons of camels there as well. Suddenly, somebody Villese has hit his stride. He's gone into 5th gear, and he's got his full Mongols army composition in there, aside from maybe a little bit of siege. Looks like Villese is having a lot of trouble, and, Villese and CL are pretty evenly matched, maybe even a slight advantage to Villese, and we still haven't mentioned TheMax, who's in Castle Age and preparing a push on the right.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just watching all of this happening now at the moment, and it's quite impressive. I didn't expect Villese to be that strong now. I mean, the number of Mangadais, they're insane. Also, it's turned out to be a good idea to go for the heavy camels there, because, as you said it, CL was attempting to raid Max a bit, but the camels were there, saving the day. Therefore, quite well done by Villese at the moment. And the castle by CL is down, so he's able to enter his base, and it doesn't look good for CL and Tim at all.
Villese researching coordinates should be able to do the reverse sling now and help the Max reach his population cap. The Max now at 115 villagers. Tim only on 65 villagers. Looking very, very poor for these guys. I assume the Max may be able to contribute with some halberdier. And with that, maybe see the GG in this game, as Tim is still in the feudal age.
Yeah, still feudal age.
And building stable too.
Oh my god.
Game freezing a little bit here. Oh, there we go. And Villese, all he needs to do, really run in here, get some good Mangadai raids. If you encounter any Paladin, run back. And I think he's a little concerned right now about this castle going down, though, in the back right.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's nothing to save CL's base at the moment. It's quite exposed over there, if you watch it there. The TCs and the villagers, they are all outside because the TCs are full. And
this could be the raid that ends the game as the Mangadai get in right under there. Out of all the units you hate to see in your economy, I think Mangadai are absolutely the worst. However, this might be a decent engagement for CL. Remember, again, the Persians +2 attack versus archer and cavalry archer type units. Yeah. So they're able to do some good damage here. However, the Mangadai are on top of a hill. And looks like a little bit of mutual destruction as Villese will still keep his Mangadai alive.
Alright, the Max reached Imperial Age. Let's see what he's going to do with that now.
Yeah, it looks like the Max is going to go into Heavy Camel himself. We saw how effective that can be for the Mongols. Can be even more effective for the Chinese, which get better upgrades on their cavalry. Of course, the Mongols lacking the last armor upgrade. And Villese being stopped a little bit by CL. However, with such a food and gold-intensive unit, it's going to be hard for CL to maintain production of that. How much gold do they have? Really not a lot, as CL has been raided quite a few times on the gold on the right with the castle on it. And I don't see really that much more gold on the map available to these players.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a little bit of gold left, but Villese is actually taking control over that one. He's placing a castle next to his gold there. A lot of gold there. And that could be really decisive there. Because then the Paladins won't be produced anymore because of the lack of gold. And there we go, that's a GG.
And there's the GG. Wow, what a game. That was quite an excellent display of, you know, both the strengths and the weaknesses of the sling strategy. What do you think were some of the keys to this game?
Well, good question now. I mean, we have to pay attention that Tim actually lost his base over there. So that was actually a bad thing. The key about that is probably CL not being able to help him out as fast as possible due to the distance, maybe.
Yeah, and also losing the fish there too. So really hurting that sling early on.
I'd say so, yeah. That was maybe really important there. So it was a 2v1 for a little bit of time. Then, you know, Tim came back by having back his base over there in the north. Also being able to sling and whatnot, but all in all, unfortunately, not enough for CL and Tim.
Yeah, and the Max not getting up those walls, so CL able to do some ratings. They were able to defend with some castles, and somehow Villese was able to mask those Mangadai, and as well, CL taking a pretty poor engagement with his Cavalier early on when there was that Trebuchet Castle War and losing a lot of Cavalier. And after that, you had that huge massive Mangadai, and from there, it's really hard to stop that.
Very true. Even though the walling mistake there from the Max, I thought this would be crucial, but it turned out that he could actually fight this off somehow. Also, the double castles there and the base of the Max and Villese turned out to be a really good idea there. I didn't expect all of this to happen like this.
Absolutely. And with that, I think we'll go on to Game 3. My name is Nobody, and this was Dem Red Eyes. See you soon.
Hello there.
And this time I'm going to check the achievements.
Well done. Okay, that's good.
I learned from my mistakes. So, as far as the sling, it was... Well, we have nothing to reference it on this time, but it was 1,300 resources distributed. I've seen better.
Yeah, to be honest, I expected even more this game, so it's not even as much as I thought.
Yeah, wow. I think the big thing, though, a lot of that was not food. A lot of that was wood,
yeah,
and that's not really the best thing to sling. And we have 50 seconds, so the next game is going to happen right now. Game 3 between Italians and Malians, two of the strongest civilizations.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I had to leave for 1 second. I had to get rid of my cat. My cat was walking all over my desktop. And with that, are you there, Dem Red Eyes?
I'm there, I'm there.
Okay, with that, I will introduce the where we are. Hello, everyone. My name is Nobody. I'm joined by Dem Red Eyes, and this is Game 3 in the Nomad Battlegrounds tournament. This is a $1,500 tournament. Semifinals, as we mentioned, and the players are TheMax+Villese versus CL+Tim. We'll introduce the players as they place down their town centers. Over in the bottom right, we have TheMax playing as the Malians. And in orange, we have, here we are, we have Villese playing as Italians. These civilizations were set by the rules of this tournament, and you can introduce the frantic team.
Exactly, and the other team is yellow there. Where is he? Oh yeah, there. On the north side of the map here, with the Malians. And then we have Tim and Gray over there on the left-hand side. With the... So sorry, Italians. There we go.
So often in Nomad we see this kind of formation where we have the you know, one player kind of sandwiched in between the other two players and one player kind of on their own, and that's the situation we have for the Finnish team, as the Max is down by himself over in the bottom of the map, and Villese is sandwiched between his two opponents in the north of the map. Based on these civilizations, how do you think this is going to play out?
Well, to be honest, I'm a fan of the Malians. They're really, really strong. They're really versatile, really dynamic. They have a lot of possibilities to go for a lot of things there. The infantry is strong, the cavalry is strong, and combined with the Italians, not very sure about the Italians. I mean, to be honest, I've seen Italians most of the times only on arena, and then they usually go for some, I don't know, some archers or even some smush over there. So I see the Malians being the more aggressive part there, especially for the early and the mid game. And yeah, but as you said it all as well, the positioning in Nomad is really important. And let's see first of all how Villese will actually get out of the situation.
Yeah, he's got to survive against 2 versus 1, most likely in this game. We'll have to see how it plays out. But, as you were saying, not a lot of love for the Italians here. I talked to Ornlu last game, and he made a pretty strong argument for the Italians. Basically, with the Italians, their fishing is going to cost less, since their fishing ships cost less, and they're able to advance the next age a lot quicker, which can be great for galley wars also. And a little bit of a versatile tech tree. So they're certainly very strong, and also the Malians super strong. Them and the Persians are able to get their dock up right away because they save all that extra wood on their town center and dock. So they're a very strong civilization as well. One thing to keep in mind, Italians, they get a little bit of condottiere team bonus. Maybe they can combine it with the Malians Pierce Armor bonus and make a dream unit.
Well, that would be insane, right? Condos like that with those upgrades, yeah, that would be cool to see that. Maybe, I mean, if we go till there, like I said, I'm not very optimistic concerning Villese positioning there, so I'm not even sure if he's going to get out of there and survive all of this in the next couple of minutes, but we'll see.
One interesting thing, the Max and Villese have their docks right next to each other. It looks like perhaps maybe the Max... No, he's just scouting around with the back right villager. Maybe he's going to place a dock in the back right there as well. So they have their docks in the middle as well. So, you know, either way, they're in the middle of both players, whether it's water control or on the land. Let's take a look at how the players are doing as far as resources. I'm going to look at Tim right now. Tim has decent amount of food, good wood, and stone and gold are a little bit far away. And, sorry, 1 second. Stupid Windows update. And you could, and looking at his ally, CL has decent food, stone, gold a little bit farther away. You want to take a look at the Finnish team?
Yeah, let's see. So the Max over there, he has, you know, it's okay if we look at this. There's a lot of, there are a couple of sheep, there's deer and whatnot. The gold is fine, the wood is fine. I like the positioning over there. Still, unfortunately, no boars over there, so that's one thing. But the deer should be fine enough there. And if you look at the Villese map there, actually, it's okay concerning the fact that the resources are quite close. There's some good wood, of course. The berries over there, the sheep are there, some stone. Not very happy about the position of the gold over there. It's quite far away. It's really exposed, really close to CL's base there. So it's not the safest gold at all. Therefore, yeah, like I said at the beginning, Villese is in a lot of trouble for many reasons there.
I would completely agree with the gold is going to be easily contested by either player, no matter what gold that Villese decides to take. It looks like he's going to start to take the bottom gold, and that is extremely close to Tim. Tim once again walling off with part of his enemy's wall, which is never a good thing. So did he just forget that that's his enemy's house? What? Oh yeah. Villese clicking up to the next age, CL clicking up to the next age, and with that we should see a little bit of a feudal galley war here, or fire galley war.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Those are quite some early feudal ages there, and we see that Max and Tim, they're still in Dark Age, so probably they will be the ones going for the Castle Age there. If you look at the civs, Tim being the Italian and the Max being the Malian, so these are two different kinds of approaches.
Oh, this is funny. This is funny. Villese is flaring his ally that Tim did not properly close his wall. So he's well aware of this. Tim has no idea, and I wonder if they're going to make use out of that later on in this game.
Could be a possible thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Could be a bad surprise.
So here comes the Galley Wars. TheMax is the last player to click up to the next age and may have enough resources for a fast castle. He's got a few more minutes, so it looks like he will have enough resources. And I'm guessing here Tim will also, yeah, Tim will definitely also go for a fast castle, walling himself in. So we'll see the Malians player and the Italians player both going for fast castles. A little bit different as far as the civilizations go. What's really important right now is see how these early water battles go.
Yeah, it will be really crucial. But I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here in the Castle Age, because those are completely different approaches there. With the Italians, you can expect something else than for the Malians. So
this is not good at all for Villese. A tower definitely going to go up for a CL. He's got some scouts coming out as well. What are towers great at? Towers are great at securing resources and obtaining map control. And what does Villese not have? Villese does not have safe resources. Villese does not have a lot of space to go for other resources.
Yeah, that's a huge disadvantage over there. Oh, there we go. I mean, it's a really good decision to go up with the towers in this case, because, yeah, Villese has nowhere to go. There are no options anymore.
Absolutely, it's a great strategy from CL. And Villese not even building a counter tower right now. Going to lose that stone immediately as the second tower comes up very quickly from CL. As well, CL able to somehow make scouts as well. I mean, this is some of the strength of the Malians, is that they've got so much resources to play with now that they can make scouts as well. Sneaky tower, though, from Villese coming up onto CL's stone, so that'll delay the next tower for CL, as he has to migrate all the way across the map for a new stone.
Oh, wow.
And this is going to be interesting, as scouts come in on the left of that stone. Might be able to pick off a few villagers. Slow reaction from Villese. Going to move back for now, but we have villagers coming in from CL. I wouldn't be surprised to see Villese lose the stone and even a few villagers in the process.
Yep, that's totally gonna happen.
And here comes those villagers from CL. And with that, Villese is going to have to run away. CL going to trap off one of those villagers a little bit. Going to be very close, but that town center doesn't have a lot of villagers in it. And down it goes. Luckily, Villese does have barracks. We'll be able to pump out some spearmen. And if I was Villese, I would just, as much as you can, pump out spearmen for days to try to secure that stone, but no, it's not going to work. There's a tower already coming up on the stone.
Unfortunately, it's done for him.
Over in the north, we did mention that water battle. The Max losing a lot of his fish to the fire galleys of Tim, and Villese, I don't see any fish left for him, so no food for him as well. And no food left for CL, so the only player fishing right now is the Max, and a little bit from Tim in the bottom.
Alright, the Max has reached Castle Age. That's good for him. And let's see, he has a stable up there. And maybe he puts up a second stable there. Maybe he goes for the Knights. Malian Knights, they're quite good. But let's see. Also,
how I'm reading into this a little bit is that Tim has decided to go for a early archer range and defend his water. Meanwhile, the Max has lost his water, and by saving those resources, able to go for an early knight and early castle age. Got a siege workshop up already, so I think that's mostly in defense. Maybe planning on attacking Tim.
Most likely, you're right.
Man, Villese is in a world of hurt, though. He's really hurting for food. Won't be able to make some villagers for a little bit of time here, as his fishing ships are not working properly. Or, they're not alive. That explains why they're not working properly. Yeah. So Villese will fall behind a little bit in the villager count. Looks like we'll try to support his ally siege here, though, with some spearmen. Even
though I'm kind of surprised that Villese managed to get this gold over there, that he walled there in the south of his TC. Just another tower would have denied this one as well, but good for him.
The theme of this game, full aggression. Oh no, the Max losing a Mangonel to 3 scouts as the Knight is just on standby watching the poor Mangonel go down. And that's a little bit of a setback for the Max. The theme of this game looks to be like all-out aggression. The Villese is completely exposed everywhere, so the Max needs to go full aggressive here. And still Tim not up to the next age, surprisingly. So it'll be a little bit of time before he's able to get up. But it's up to CL. CL now needs to defend from Knights.
Yeah, and the Knights, they already have +1. That's good. I always like to see the defensive text for Knights. Better than nothing. Still, I'm not sure if the numbers are enough. I mean, there's some kind of rating going on, but just 2 Knights so far that they see. Let's see if he's gonna pump up more.
Yeah, and Villese even having some archers, being able to take down the spearmen. Great teamwork here. Even though Villese is really hurting as far as economy is concerned, still able to make a good contribution. No siege play quite yet. CL picking off yet another villager of Villese. A lot of his resources are exposed. So both players trying to do as much damage as possible. Finally, Tim is up to the next age, aided by that Italian's bonus and the fishing he has. So he'll have a decent economy when he gets up to the next age, and we'll have to see what he does. Double stable for him.
Double stable, always a good sign. Always a good sign for Knights.
Meanwhile, though, the Max going 3 town centers. He's had a little bit of time since these players have not been quick up to the next age. And the Villese has been doing such a great job at defending himself with his archers. So this should be a little bit of advantage for the Finnish team. However, they will have to defend the early Knights of Tim. Tim is probably going to have a lot of resources banked from going up to the next age.
Yeah, it's certainly really impressive that Villese is still there and not GG'd already. And with this income of resources, it's actually the wisest choice to go for archers, because he has the gold and he has the wood, but not too much of food. So actually a good choice there.
Alright, here we go. Tim up to the next age. Double stable Knights has tons of resources for days. And we'll see if he drops an extra town center or maybe drops a monastery and a siege workshop to get even more aggressive. Look at this! The Max transporting over 2 Knights to be able to do some raiding. Might be able to pick off a few villagers. However, the Knights will be out from Tim. Nice quick walls, so this landing in this transport gets style points, but it's not going to get a lot of villager kills. We have Villese making wheelbarrow now. The Max researching foraging for a little more damage. The Max is now on 3 town centers. And should be able to either go imp or add more stables. Which do you think is a better decision for him?
Come again, please?
Do you think it's better for the Max to go Imperial Age with all the economy he's built, or to add more stables?
Well, that's a good question, because those are 2 different philosophies, right? If you go for the stables, that means that you want to stay in Castle Age, obviously, and you want to try to finish off those enemies as soon as possible. But if you go for imp, it's certainly going for the late game, even though that would be also a good option for the Max, because, you know, as Malians you get Farimba and Imperial, right?
This is awesome. You see this little village that Villese has made in his base? Look at this little village. with this palisade wall. A little relic there. That is crazy. That is amazing. This is like this is the beauty of when newer players play the game. They always make the prettiest villages, and that's really something we lose in high level play, unfortunately. But Villese bringing that back. Gonna lose a few of these villagers though. Would have been nice to put a palisade gate there, but I guess he didn't like the look of the palisade gate as the knights come storming in.
True.
Oh god, Villese is losing so much here. He's played so well this game, and this little mistake, losing a lot of villagers. Luckily, he is up to Castle Age, but so is CL. This raid is really evening up the game, as Villese is only on 27 villagers now. This is a huge advantage for the Frantic team.
Yeah, and they paused the game, just for a second there.
Knights able to clean up the archers. More archers coming in from CL. Where is the Max? Where in the world is he?
Yeah, good question. I mean, he's there now, okay. Way too late, unfortunately. Even though Villese did well to fight off those enemy knights there, still way too late.
I can't really understate how devastating this raid was for Villese. Villese is on 23 villagers only. 23 villagers. Their whole team up to 95 villagers. The other team, well, really, not too much difference there. 95 villagers. So, you know, maybe the Max's boom has been justified here, even though Villese has taken a lot of damage. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, I'm not very convinced of this one. I mean, considering numbers, yes, it's kind of equal, but Villese is really, really far back because he's alive, but he wasted so many villagers over there, and that will cost him a lot of impact in the game later on because he will need a lot of time to come back from this, and he can be harassed even easier now because he has so little numbers of villagers there, and defense, not to talk of defense, there's nothing that he can do. He's really vulnerable at the moment.
I'm still so sad that that colony in the middle of the map is completely unused now. It's like it's a dead village. No one go there. It's like a graveyard now. But the Max coming in with some knights. Maybe we'll be able to pick off these crossbows of CL. The Max needs to do some good damage here, as the villager numbers of CL and Tim should run away. Remember, even though the villager numbers were even a few minutes ago, they still have way more town centers at this stage. I haven't shown it to you, but here they are. And it looks like these knights gonna trap down these archers a bit. One monk, two monks coming out from Italians. From Tim. And will this be enough to take this fight? It looks like it will be enough.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. He's retreating.
And castle now for Tim on that hill. That will be a direct threat to the Max. Help secure 2 golds on top of the hill. Awesome castle from Tim, if he's able to get this one up.
Also, castle coming from Villese now because he sees the siege coming there from. Oh,
that's great news. That's great news for Villese.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, with that castle, we'll be able to help defend himself a little bit. Knights coming in. Let's see if he can get the walls in this time. Looks like he'll be safe for this time, as there's a little bit of a hole here still. Might lose the mangonel if he doesn't wall that off. But still, even with that castle, the knights are still able to do so much raiding because of the way Villese's base is. That town center really not well protected. Villese still below 30 villagers.
Awful. Okay, the castle is up.
At the very least, Villese can add some Genoese crossbowmen now, which should be effective against Tim's army composition. But that said, castle going up from Tim, and yeah, we'll see when the players decide to go up to Imperial Age and how much they decide to invest in knights. Now Tim, with that castle up, with the assistance of CL and his +1 crossbows, gonna move out to raid on the bottom right side. And someone's saying, can the Max carry this game? I'm not so sure. Tim gonna move in the right. Luckily, it's walled here, so should be okay. The Max also has access to Camel, which is one nice advantage for him, so he can catch up a little bit if this is a knight-on-knight war.
And he is advancing to Imperial Age at the moment. That's good for him. And CL certainly going for some archer action there, some shenanigans over there, as he got some botgun arrow. Not sure what his plan is exactly.
Never a good sign when knights start to batter down your town center and you're powerless to stop it. Yet another castle coming from Tim in another good position. It helps lock down yet another gold, another stone, another 2 stones, and take out the town center of the Max. And one of the themes for this series is how important map control is on Nomad. And, oh wait! Yep. Castle getting denied in the north from CL. Forget about what I was saying. We have a doubt castle in. And looks like the knight's not going to go straight for the town center in the bottom right. Imperial Age coming from Tim. Imperial Age almost done from the Max. The Max should look to tech into Cavalier with Verema. Doesn't have yet his castle up and sorely lacking behind on the numbers. Meanwhile, Tim...
And also...
What is it?
I was going to say that Tim is actually trying to get into his base. And there's also a castle being dropped in front of his base, in front of the base of the Max. So he's in trouble now.
Yeah, third castle coming up from Tim. Going to be able to attack the town center. Also, third castle gives you the option of going Genoese crossbowmen, which will be very effective against cavalry. The Malians, maybe they can go like champions to counter out the Genoese crossbowmen, but otherwise can't really go anything else. Champions would be very hard for the Max to do with the way his economy's looking at this stage.
That's for sure. Okay, now we see it. The Max going for camels as well, as he sees the huge army of Tim approaching. But now that the castle is over there, it's gonna be a bit problematic for him in order to get out of the situation again. But luckily he is in Imperial Age. Unfortunately, no castle yet, so he will have a tough time beating this castle in front of his base.
Yeah, if the Max had a single castle, it would certainly buy him a lot of time, but no castle for him. Going to tech into Camel, a lot of the cavalry upgrades, and hope in the long term that condottiers can do enough damage against Genoese crossbowmen. I'm not... How convinced are you of that matchup?
I mean, how convinced of this matchup that...
like Genoese crossbowmen versus condottier, do you think condottier are a legitimate option here?
I'm honest, I'm dead honest. I'm not even sure if the condottiers will be good against them. To be honest, I doubt that.
Right now they're up to 5 pierce armor. That is, I think they go up to either, let me do my math, +7 maybe? +7 pierce armor? Yeah, there we go, +7 done. So they'll be very effective against the archer type units with the Malian team bonus. However, it really depends on that meat shield in front. This can be an effective combination for the Finnish team. And here's the biggest engagement of the game. Notable that none of these cavalry units have the +4 armor in. Instead, the +4 infantry armor was researched. Infantry coming in quite late as all the cavalry goes down from the Max, and might get a cleanup on these archers. However, the knights are still in the base, still doing a lot of raiding. And there we go, the Max able to really overwhelm here. Maybe this is their shot at this game. Maybe Genoese crossbowman was not the best choice. Genoese crossbowmen notably take forever to build en masse.
That's for sure. I mean, I've expected some more Genoese crossbowmen over there. Then it would have been a bit different, but the numbers of the condottiers are so significant, they are able to strike back there.
Oh my gosh, are we watching a comeback right now? As these condottier really clean up the house. Maybe Tim should take note of this and make condottier of his own or something else. It's getting completely overrun, and these castles could potentially go down.
Probably will.
Castle coming up from Tim, as could inflict even more damage onto Villese. Villese is just a pillow for punching, or whatever you punch, I suppose. I don't have the greatest catchphrases in the world. I'm not Killer Bee. So he's going to add another castle. This is up to what, 5 castles now? And, you know, maybe it's a little bit of a wasted investment to invest so much into castles when you don't really have the strongest army out.
That's for sure. I mean, especially if you don't do anything with castles as an unit production, just to save some, you know, zones there. As you said, it won't be effective if you don't have your own army over there. So, doesn't look good at all. It seems to be that Max is having his comeback there for his team. Really impressive.
Never a good sign when you're prioritizing murder holes as one of the most important techs you're researching right now. But yeah, Tim adding some barracks. He's learned his lesson. Going to make condottieri of his own. And honestly, champions might be good as well. But condottieri is going to be the unit choice. Notably, though, these are Italian condottieri. These are not Malian condottieri. Yeah. Funny enough, the Italians don't have the strongest condottieri in the game.
That sounds weird, but it's true.
And I do want to check just the Max's gold income. That raid was so huge for him because he gets to obtain more gold. I'm guessing he's hurting quite a bit on it, not mining too much. And mining a little bit in the south, but regardless should have more access to gold now. Let's see if Tim is able to push this back. Tim, 120 villagers. The Max also 120 villagers, so they're pretty even here.
Yep.
And men-at-arms being researched from the Max, so just going to go full champion transition. There's really no more reason to go into condottieri unless Gunpowder decides to make it onto the field, in which case you can still add condottieri later. But condottieri, they were just easier to get out because they don't require the men-at-arms, the longswordsman upgrade, but once the champion upgrade comes in for the Max, should be even a stronger unit to make.
That's for sure, especially as Malians.
Meanwhile, Villese has lost his original town center, losing 2 castles. Tim, luckily this trebuchet is well defended between its other castles, so Villese will have to migrate quite a bit. So many castles in this game. I don't think I've seen a game with this many castles from such few players.
That's true as well. A lot of castles.
What is it? We've seen like at least 10 this game. And Villese basically has no economy, has no military, has no space to run. He desperately needs to go south and rendezvous with the Max. I think CL is patrolling a little bit with some crossbows. Luckily, these villagers will get out. Nope, never mind. CL is probably going to see them.
Was that a bug in the overlay? It said that Tim sold about 20,000 wood. That was a bug, right?
I have no clue.
Oh my god.
And kind of a small big mistake from CL, not seeing any of those villagers come by. Maybe that'll bite him later on in the game if Villese is able to have an impact on this game. That could have been half of Villese's villagers gone from those crossbows, but just not being able to see that. Villese more vills than CL. Oh, I am blind. CL apparently has been... What the hell happened to CL? Why is he doing so poorly? Probably from the raids of the Max, right?
Yeah, seems like it, to be honest. I mean, I've seen the Max coming from the east over there. And yeah, he's in already. Wow. Insane.
Yeah, so this raid is absolutely devastating. It's showing really the power of Malians condottieri. Beware if you ever have this combination of Malians and Italians. These condottieri are strong. Really strong. And I don't know, is CL going to be able to come back from this? Luckily, he's got 2 castles in his base, making Gabito. I feel like he'll be able to survive.
Yeah, it's the question, who will be strong in the end? Is it Tim or the Max? And at the moment, the Max has this pushback of his life. You know, he is now attempting to enter his base, Tim's base. And once he's done that, I don't see too much of Tim to protect himself against this one.
Champions fully upgraded now, at least for the Malians. And basically, Champions less effective at raiding, but they should be more effective at going in through the front. One thing we have not seen from the Max is a lot of siege, so he's having a little bit of trouble getting through these walls. We'll see if Tim is able to defend once these units are in. And oh no! The Max building a ton of barracks into Tim's base. This might be GG if these barracks go up.
Yeah.
And here we go, barracks coming up. Tim only realizing now. Looks like Tim is going into light cavalry. He must have absolutely no access to gold right now. And with that, I think that should be the good game if Tim does not have any gold. Obviously, CL is busy with his own defending himself. So how is Tim going to defend this against Champion?
Good question, right? I mean, against champions, probably some archer type of unit would be good, but in this case, not gonna happen.
Yeah, all archers cost gold, and that's one thing the Frantic team does not have. What they do have is a big massive Gabitos, though. Oh my gosh. Might be able to deny this castle. Doesn't look like it. Those Gabitos only have 30 health. They don't want to stand there with the champions. Champions will take them down in 2 hits. No, 3 hits with the armor.
They can one-shot them, luckily, with some kiting. But still, the castle is up. Ironically, TheMax, who has been castle dropped a couple of minutes earlier, he's now dropping his own castle successfully in front of Tim's base. Now he's able to enter.
I just don't know how these, how Tim is going to stop these barracks. He needs to somehow take out the barracks. He needs a siege workshop, and I always hate the situation where the farms take up all the space and I can't drop any siege workshops. I mean, I know you can just delete the farms, but I already made them, so who wants to do that? So Frantic's going to come down in south and help defend. Here comes more champions from the Max. We'll have to see how the Gabitos do. Obviously, they're lacking in upgrades. They're only Castle Age Gabitos. And even a few Gabitos coming out from the Max. Players kind of copying each other a little bit here. As we saw the Condottiere transition come in from Tim. Luckily, the Max was one step ahead, transition into champions. And now that we see Gabitos from the Max.
So yeah, Tim's base seems to be GG. And what about CL actually? I mean, he's now back again. His base is still alive there.
Yeah, CL's doing okay. CL has all the gold right now, so I'm guessing he's going to sling some to, or should be slinging some to Tim, so Tim can make some gunpowder. Again, this is just such a hard army composition to stop. You can't stop it with archers. You can't stop it with gunpowder because you can add the Condottiere back in there. Really, the best thing against the Malians might be cavalry, but even then, you know, the Malians have really good camels. So, yeah, the Malians are pretty broken. At least the Malians don't have great siege, although they do have siege onager. But, yeah, it's a strong civ to stop.
So there we go, Max is dropping another castle right in the middle of Tim's base.
Yeah, I think just the picture says 1,000 words, and castle going up in the middle of the base. No more villagers on these farms. All 3 town centers filled to the brim with villagers, and no army in sight. And I think this is pretty GG right here, as the Max researches Elite Gabito, and will now be sending his sights up to the north of the map. Villese still rebooming a little bit in the bottom, and should be back in this game at some point. A little bit of saving grace for the Frantic team. Imperial Age coming in, maybe hoping that CL can mass enough Gabitos to be able to defend. Obviously, that might be the best way to defend against the Malians. But the Max has plenty of Gabitos on his own, so I don't know what the hope is here.
That's very true. I don't see any hope anymore. Right now, it seems to be pretty much over because Tim has lost all of his base, and yeah, now CL is actually the one who can, you know, attempt to do something here, but I don't think that he will be strong enough in order to fight off the Max now, especially because Villese is now inside of Max base, so to speak, trying to reboom again. Therefore, I guess the Max and Villese are too far ahead now.
Interestingly, Tim's still making a few Genoese crossbowmen out of his one castle, which really won't do a hell of a lot, even getting ballistics for them. But, yeah, the Max should set his sights up towards the north. This has got to be at least the second or third time he's used the transport ship effectively, as the Max is building sneaky barracks up in the north, and none of these buildings have ever been noticed to be going up, and this is just great play from the Max.
Yeah, really well done.
Yeah, this is something that players should probably do more often on Nomad if they have a good a civ good at raiding, using transport ships and getting up sneaky barracks and docks. We see now the Max transitioning into cavalry, which will be better population space efficiency-wise. A cavalier has more damage potential than a champion. And yeah, this will make the Max's army even stronger. The only problem with that is they cost more gold, but it looks like the Max has plenty of gold to work with.
That's true, they have all the gold. While Tim is still thinking about this generous crossbowman thing. He goes for chemistry, therefore he still wants to commit into that. Maybe it's his own way to defend himself now. He thinks, at least.
There we go. Kibito's moving north for the Max. And I don't know, I'm just waiting for the GG here. I think this game's pretty done.
Well, to be honest.
Elite Kibito coming in from CL. CL has 50 military out on the field. The Max is 85 military, so maybe if he gets a really lucky engagement, could potentially happen on the left. The thing is, Kibitos are pretty fast and they can avoid bad engagements. So I'm gonna have to see a few mistakes made from the Finnish team in order for CL to come back. And it looks like CL will take a good engagement on this north side at the very least. Army count's now 45 to 80. This still doesn't look too good. And maybe what the Max needs is just a little bit more siege to be able to close out this game. Guard tower even being done from the Max to take a little more map control. And even add more barracks on the south. Of course, there's this gold here, so that's a very important area of the map. A lot of resources in this area of the map, so I think players should be focusing more on that area. The Max kind of forgetting about his Gabitos a bit, and these Gabitos of CL a little bit on a rampage. Luckily, the Max did forget about the Gabitos on a hill, so I guess they'll be okay in the end. And the Villese going up to Imperial Age.
Yeah, he has finally managed to go Imperial Age. That's impressive. So I just want to see how much of an impact he will be able to have. He is going for those archery ranges, therefore we can see some more military action from him going on.
Well, theoretically, Villese should be the nail in the coffin. He's going to go crossbows right now, which is a fine choice against Gabitos. Playing against a player that only has 80 villagers, you don't worry about them diversifying their army so much. So crossbows should be you know, all they need. And with that Imperial Age, I wouldn't even be surprised to see a GG, but I guess we'll wait for that. And Onager coming in for the Max. The Ethiopians, of course, get Siege Onager, although it's expensive, but regular Onagers would be devastating against Gabitos with only 45 HP.
That's true, that's true. One lucky Onager shot there, and it's over.
I would love to see an Onager shot. I have not yet seen a huge Onager shot on Gabitos, but I imagine it's spectacular.
Probably.
There we go, the Max able to push off CL, and we should see crossbows coming out fairly shortly from Villese. There we go, Arbalest done. All the upgrades coming in for the Arbalest. And it looks like the Max has secured control of yet another gold on that right side as well. The Max making a big effort actually to control this hill. And even chopping away at some trees to better control the hill. We're going to see, this could be the fight of the game as a few crossbows are finally here from Villese. My bad, Arbalest. And, oh, there we go, there's the Onager shot! Oh, that wasn't as spectacular as I wanted, though. But either way, enough to push back CL. Zach saying MVP, Villese. Yeah, he's certainly been the MVP. He's certainly been battered on this entire game. And I mean, finally is able to make his impact. 1 hour, 9 minutes in the game. GG as they see the strong army from Villese. What a great game, and a lot of back and forth. A lot of variety in this one. What do you think are some of the keys to this game?
Well, to be honest, I thought of this question. I was sure that you would ask again. And to be honest, there were so many things, so much back and forth. I'm not even very sure. I mean, the key thing maybe was that Villese survived in the end. I said it from the beginning. I said, no, how will Villese survive and whatnot, but he managed to do it, and maybe that was really crucial, because then TheMax had his teammates still being alive and could work for an awesome booming and comeback over there, and probably that was one of the keys.
The Frantic team doing a lot of damage with CL's early pressure onto Villese. Villese being able to just barely hold on. Of course, we had some support from TheMax, and really better than the support, a great boom from TheMax. Tim coming back with Knights of his own, doing a lot of damage onto Villese, and basically taking him out of the game. So then we kind of had like a 1 versus 1 between Tim and TheMax. In which case the Tim nearly pushed into TheMax's base, but those counter tiers were just too strong. Tim made a bit of a mistake by investing so heavily into the Genoese crossbowmen and castles for them, and was pushed back from that. And then also TheMax doing a lot of great raiding onto CL, and from there just not able to stop those counter tiers quick enough. And TheMax, you know, when there was an answer to that, started adding Gabitos as well. So staying one step ahead of the opponent, eventually Villese being able to reboom, and that brings us to the end of the game. Great game from TheMax. I love his transport play as well. And I'm Nobody. This has been Dem Red Eyes, and let's go on to game 3.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so game 3 is teams choose between Huns, Mongols, Franks, Celts, Japanese, Malay, and Incas. Which civilizations do you pick? Do you have any preference on the civilizations? Alright, looks like my Cookcaster might have gone out for a second.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot that. Oh, so sorry. But it was about the push to talk. I actually wanted to answer. I was answering, but then lol, I forgot to press the button. I was going to say that Franks. I would have chosen the Franks for myself because I love the Franks. They're quite strong, especially their knights in the mid game, also in the late game. They have some good and cool perks. But I would either go for the Franks or the Malay, I guess, because the Malay, maybe as you know as well, they're quite strong there, especially in the late game. They're insane. Talking about Karambits, talking about some proper rating there. I would go for that. What about you?
In the last series I spectated, we saw what was it? I think it was, I can't even remember. What I remember, the civilizations were Malay, Japanese, and Celts. I think Japanese was the consensus pick, although I might be wrong. But between them, I would say Japanese and Malay are probably the strongest ones here, I think.
Yeah, Japanese is also a good choice. I love Japanese, especially in Field Age, because they're so dynamic. You can go for insane build orders and then try to manage some, you know, dynamic gameplay. You can start with, I don't know, you could even go for infantry, like man-at-arms, and then go for archers if you want to, even play some towers if you want to, and still at the same time manage your economy really well because of their wood bonus over there, because they save a lot of wood there with their buildings in the beginning. Therefore, it's also a good choice, Japanese. In the late game as well, quite strong infantry, some halbs, siege would be insane.
This has been a great series so far. This has been a great tournament. Thanks again to Racer FXX, who's administrating this tournament. Thanks to everyone joining us today. We have 320 viewers. We had 360 during the last game, and let's get into the next one.
Thanks a lot. Really great thing. Thanks, Racer.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game 4 between I think it's Game 4 between TheMax and Villese versus Tim and CL. We had some really excellent games so far in this tournament. This particular game, we have a choice between a variety of civilizations, and the civilizations they have chosen is Malay, Incas, Mongols, and Incas. I'm joined here by Dem Red Eyes. My name is Nobody. And without further ado, let's get through with some introductions. You can go ahead and start.
Alright then, hi there. So let's start with TheMax+Villese. TheMax has chosen melee, and he is on the right hand side of the map. Furthermore, we got Villese, orange, with the Incas on the left hand side of the map so far.
And for the other team, we have CL playing as the Incas, and Tim playing as the Mongols. Which civilizations do you prefer? Do you prefer the Incas, or, sorry, do you prefer the Malay or the Mongols?
Well, that's a good question. Since I'm a really dedicated Arabia player, I always go for the Mongols then, if I could choose. But like I said, I mean, the other civ you asked about was the Incas, right?
Either.
Either, okay. I mean, I'd always go for the Mongols then in this case. If there's melee, I would think about it, but I guess all in all, Mongols would be also a really good choice there. I'd choose them. They have a lot of potential, especially in the beginning of the game, late game as well, but their feudal game, it could be decisive, especially on Nomad. Therefore, I'd prefer them.
We saw in the previous game the strength of the Mongols late Imperial Age with the Mangudai combination. We also saw a little bit of their weakness as they weren't able to make a good Castle Age sort of army to go for, and I think we're going to have a restart this game. There we go,
yep.
Re.
Seems like it. Don't know why. Maybe it was a re, just a normal re by a player.
Yes.
Oh yeah, by the way, just a friendly reminder, I'm so sorry I didn't say it earlier because I didn't have the time to. It's actually Them Eyes Red, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm so sorry that I didn't tell you earlier. I didn't have the opportunity to tell you. It's all good.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Well,
yeah.
All good.
Let me update that now.
I actually dealt with that. I told one of our very competent mods to deal with that in the meantime, and it worked out. It's all good.
Cool. Alright, so they should start the game fairly shortly. Thanks again, everyone, joining us today.
Yeah.
We'll be having more content from the Nomad Battlegrounds tournament in the near future, as these games are getting towards the finals here. Winner of this game, of course, much better chance at getting some of that money. I think this is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Racer, but this is elimination here. So players, you know, whichever team will lose will not have any chances at that money. It's a $1,500 tournament. It's administrated by Racer FXX, who's in the chat here. And you can ask him any tournament questions if you'd like. My name is Nobody. Joined here by Them Eyes Red. And we have 50 seconds until the next game starts. Here we go.
All right.
Hello everyone, and welcome to game number 4 in this best of 5 series. This is the Nomad Battlegrounds tournament. It's a best of 5 tournament for $1,500 total prize pool. We have Villese and TheMax versus Tim and CL. Score now is 2-1, as you can see above. And players will be shortly placing down their town centers. I believe both teams have used their restarts. My name is Nobody, and I'm joined here by Them Eyes Red.
Well, hello there, everyone. So let's start to introduce the players over here. So there's Villese in orange with the Incas, looking for a good place to place his town center. There he goes on the south hand side of the bottom hand side of the map here. And we also got his teammates in teal here, TheMax with the melee on the south again.
And for the opposing team, we have Tim placing his town center in the top right as gray, as the Mongols, and his ally, CL, right next to each other, placing his town center as the Incas. These civilizations were chosen from a pool of pretty strong civilizations. We have a difference here in that we have Malay and Mongols, And what do you think about these town center positions so far?
Well, if we look at this closely, we can point out that the Max and Villese are really close to each other. That can be an advantage, of course, because it's always better to have your teammate close rather than your enemy. And if we look at the others, yeah, the same goes for Tim and CL. It's really close. I mean, if we look at Tim and CL, it's a bit too close in my opinion. But, I mean, too close as in, you know, space-wise. Other than that, it's really easy for them to protect each other still. And if we look at the resources, starting with the Max, quite good positioning there. He has some good wood, good gold especially. Food-wise, looks fine. Some deer, some sheep. No boar, unfortunately, again. And if we look at Villese, it's the quite opposite. So he has some wood, but he has the boars. And as Incas, he has the additional llama over there. Some stone and some golds, not too close to his TC, but still there. So I'm fine with that. What about the others?
We have Tim over on the right, tons of deer for days, and also right next to him, CL, also tons of food, stone, wood, gold over in the bottom, a little bit farther away, but there's a nice gold here for Tim. Might be rangeable by galleys later on, so gold might be a little bit of a problem for this team. Certainly, looking at the mini-map, there's tons more gold towards the left side of the map than the right side of the map, so a little bit unlucky in the spawn position that way.
True indeed.
And I haven't seen really a Nomad map like this. Oftentimes you see two players next to each other and the other team too far away. This time we have both teams next to each other. It almost looks like a random map script, as if it could have been generated this way. So I'm kind of interested to see how these town center positions change the play styles of each player.
Exactly.
And we can talk one more time about the Civ matchup. So Villese and CL playing as the Incas. Both these players are towards the top side of the map, and then the other side we have Malay and Mongols. How do you think these civilizations will play it with these maps?
Good question indeed. I see the Mongols being the one part that goes for some early aggression, probably. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. And the Incas more of a late game type of style. Interesting enough, the Incas, they have some very special unique text to themselves. I mean, not unique text, but some Civ specialties. The villages are really interesting, they're quite strong. But if we look at this matchup, I see the Mongols being the early aggression part and the Incas as the late aggression part, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, in a way, the early game of the Mongols and the Malay play very similar because both civilizations are able to get up to the feudal age quite quickly. There's, of course, a little bit of variation later on in the game with the unique units, though, but really they kind of play a little bit similar in this situation. Wouldn't be surprised to see those two players go heavy onto the water, and I'm a little curious to see if maybe the Meso Civs decide to go fast castle. Of course, they won't have the strong knight unit. Maybe we could see eagles, or maybe we see more of a feudal play from them. I'm really not too sure.
Yeah, true indeed. And I just want to point out that when I described Max TC, I said that there's no boar, and Villese was so generous and said, hey, you can take my boar because I got plenty of boars over some other place, so you can just take one of mine, and he did that. He actually lured a boar right from Villese TC to his own TC.
Yeah, that was that's very good team play from these players. One thing to point out, Villese did pick a pond to fish at. One player in the chat saying not a great idea, but I disagree a little bit. There's a lot of fish into this pond. These fishing ships will of course be safe. So there are some good sides and the downside. The good side is that Villese will have some great fishing ships and working throughout the feudal age. Might want to make some fish traps later on, which is not great, and of course won't have a dock to support with galley wars. So we'll have to see if the Finnish team is able to maintain water control in the big lake, or if they're able to pick off the opponent's fish.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the dock on the ponds, always a tricky thing. Would have been nice if it was the Malay player doing this. But
oh
so
yeah,
far
definitely.
Yeah, that would be fine, right? With the
Oh, with the Malay player? Maybe the Malay player just wants to go up there in the Imperial Age and start fishing from it. You know, that's very valuable.
Yeah, true.
We saw when the Viper played his semifinal match. I scrolled over to his point of view. He was, of course, making full use of the Malay fish traps, maybe 3 docks surrounded by fish. I scroll over to his point of view. He's got like 100 karambits, 30 minutes into Imperial Age, maybe 40, 45 minutes, and he's got like 5k food banked up, and it was ridiculous.
Damn.
There's might need to be if you're a person that deals with balance in the community, might want to think about that infinite fish traps. Infinity is a pretty big it's a pretty big amount.
Yeah. That's true indeed. Lodzak asking, but does he know it's only a pond? He does. I mean, he found out eventually. I'm not sure if he knew it initially, but Villese at the moment, he's aware of the fact that this is just a pond.
Oh yeah, those fishing ships have scouted everything that there is to scout in that little pond there. And players using their flares to better understand where their opponents are. Players now advancing to the next age. We have TheMax, the first player into the next age, and Tim also into the next age as well. So, not surprisingly, those two civilizations quick up, and we should see some fire galleys coming out. Again, fish, very important on Nomad. Big part of your economy, so you really want to keep those fish alive, and you want to get those galleys out nice and fast.
Exactly.
And now, all the players into Feudal Age, and we saw no fast castles this game, probably due to the maybe their mesosieves and the importance of water, but that's definitely a bit of a departure from previous games.
That's true, but why would you say that it's partly because of mesosieves?
Because they don't have they can't fast castle knights. I don't think fast castle eagles is quite as strong.
You don't think so? Okay.
No, I mean, create too slow. Right. Don't pack as much a punch.
True.
And a little bit of scout rating from Tim. Tim, this is the second time this series he's gone for quick scouts and been quite effective with it.
Yeah.
Did he make any galleys out? I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, he did. Nope, did he? Where's the dock for Tim?
Looking as well.
It's hard to see on this map.
It's in the north. It's in the north. Yeah, it's in the north. On the right-hand side of the pond over there. There's a dock.
I'll take your word for it. He's only got 1 fish, though. 0 fish now for the Chinese team. 10 fish for Villese. Most of it's in that pond, but some of it's also on the left side. So Villese, the only player left with that, but that's a huge boost to his economy. And luckily, to even it up a little bit, Tim is going to do some good damage there with his scouts. Market up for Villese. I would not be surprised at all. There we go. Villese going to Castle Age with all that additional fish. This is what fish can do for you.
All right.
Tim going to be trying to be as annoying as possible. We now have some spearmen coming out from Villese. If Villese wants, could even get the armor upgrade on the spearmen, and it'll work for his villagers too. And yeah, let's see. It looks like probably Villese will go with some eagles early on, maybe some more spearmen, and should have a big impact on this game. Early lead for the Finnish team.
That's for sure. I mean, eagles, in my opinion, eagles are quite interesting, quite a strong infantry unit because they're quite mobile, as we all know, and they're really tanky when they are facing arrow fire. Especially in the Castle Age, they seem to be even tanky. I mean, you can go beneath TCs without major losses there, and that's something many people underestimate, in my opinion. That the eagles are so tanky, actually, concerning arrow fire.
Towers coming up from Tim, and another counter tower coming up from Villese. Looks like he'll get this one up, but this is going to push Tim away from his wood line. I have to say, I think Tim's done a pretty good job. He's done the best job he could, despite not having the fish, of doing some damage against Villese. Villese will, against everything else, be up to the next age, and still have a bank of food, because, of course, of those fish. Is he taking gold somewhere, though? I don't... Yeah, he's taking a little bit in the south, but only 4 villagers. 4 villagers is not enough to really make a decent amount of eagles. So these scouts have been extremely effective so far in keeping this game nice and even for the Chinese team.
That's true. And he is aware of this. Villese is aware of this situation, and what he does is placing another TC at a good position, in my opinion, on the left-hand side of his base, in order to get more gold and secure that gold spot as well. And he's indeed going for Eagles. And you were right about the 4 villages in the gold. That was not enough at all, but enough to get to FC. And from that now, combined with the fact that he builds up his TC there, he should be able to pump out some Eagles soon.
We have a bit of balanced discussion in the chat when I was talking about the Malay fish, and of course I'm not going to hesitate to not join in a balanced discussion as we see these scouts take out some more villages on the chat. I think the problem is actually with the GillNet's technology. It's too expensive at the very beginning. It gives you too much bang for your buck later on. I think there's the problem is with the GillNet's technology should be nerfed in the effectiveness of it. But getting back into the game, picking up another villager of the max, scouts getting so much value. But still, neither of the Chinese players up to the next age quite yet. And Villese is on 2 town centers and going to have a little bit of an economy lead here. He's only on 29 villages now, but it should shoot up relatively shortly.
That's true. It should be fine very, very soon. And the scouts of Tim still trying to harass the Max as much as possible, but Max did well by securing his base smartly. If you look at it, the positioning of the palisades are quite well chosen. Therefore, yeah, Tim is not able to do any damage for now.
A lot of walls from CL, which, you know, considering the way this tournament has gone, I'm not very surprised. But this is a little bit of a misplay in my opinion for the Chinese team. Tim has tons of scouting information, can see that Villese is not playing aggressive right now. I don't think it's worth it for CL to wall up when your opponent's not going to do any sort of aggression.
That's true. Maybe that's really a misplay. He just wants to play it safe. He wants to go for a boom, as we can see. No, he doesn't. Let me see. Why does he wall it up like that? I'm not even sure what he wants to do with all of that space. He just wants to secure the resources first of all, maybe? I know where he wants to go from that.
Well, the wall keeps him safe from raids, I guess, later on if the Megano will come in. It also gives him a lot of space if he wants to add town centers and farms. One problem, though, this is a fairly big problem for the Chinese team. As we said, there's not any gold in there, and not a hell of a lot of stone either. Most of the gold and stone, they will be in the middle of the map for the Chinese team, and they will have to contest that.
They will have to contest it for sure. You're right. The positioning of the golds, they're all in the middle. That's the crucial part of the map here, and that's where the crucial fights will take place if it goes that far, I guess. Therefore, let's see, man. Let's see.
Villese learning from his teammate, TheMax, and building transport of his own, not being able to be as successful as his teammate TheMax, though, as the transport ship gets sunk in that little pond. It's pretty funny. I wonder if they're going to continue to add fire ships here as they fight over this tiny pond with no fish in it.
Yeah, who knows. But Tim has managed to do some smart harassment over there in a Villese base. That's well done, actually. He still has his scouts up there. They're not dead yet. And that was well done by him.
With the water control, Max is going to upgrade into War Galley. Make sure to keep his water control there. And they have a total of 11 fishing ships on the water, and that'll certainly help their economies. Overall, the economies of the Finnish team doing way better, especially with this boom from Villese. You know, the problem is if Tim and CL want to boom themselves, they will be behind in the boom, and also they might be forfeiting map control of these critical resources. So I think with all these scouts, with all these Knights of Tim, I think this is time for YOLO. You know, full aggression play.
Yeah, it would be adequate. And we can see CL is going to the front now. He wants to do some, commit into some... No, he's placing a house. I thought that would be something...
Gonna place a castle, maybe even 2.
Oh.
And 2 rams. No army still out for Villese. Villese has played this a little too greedy, maybe. Getting his monastery up now, if that's not nearly going to be enough. Tons of villagers going down. Here comes the castle. This could be the game. This could be the play that changes the game.
Oh, wow.
Monk going down too. And unfortunately, a lot of knights going down to the spearmen. Will Tim and CL have enough army to get this castle down? Looks like they might, as the knights are still doing a lot of raiding as well.
Wow.
Wow, what a play to change the game. Ram's gonna take out the monastery too, I think. And this castle should come down. Gonna do a ton of damage. Now, Villese is down to 52 villagers. He's been booming for the last few minutes, remember. And he's only up to 54 villagers now. Not a hell of a lot higher than the other players. And he's gonna lose a lot of farming space from this castle too. So, this one play, able to take back the game by quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true indeed. I'm also not happy with the positioning of the castle of Villese. I mean, he did that in order to secure the back part of his base. And also to be able to pump out some Kameyuks now. Which is good, of course. Kameyuks always a decent choice as Incas. Especially if the enemy goes for cavalry. But all in all, yeah, that was a good move by Tim and CL. And I guess Villese is gonna pay for that dearly. Really heavily.
Imperial Age coming from CL, I just have to say this trebuchet is going to be absolutely devastating. There are no units to kill a trebuchet with the castle here, and this trebuchet with the 16 range will be able to take down 2 town centers, castle, tons of farms, tons of buildings. Meanwhile, the Max did get a successful transport out and is now raiding with Malay battle elephants. They will be extremely effective here until Tim gets a monk out anyway. But a good raid from the Max, adding more stables here. Unfortunately, monks might be a very good counter here too, though, so I don't expect this raid to go too far. The Max will get some great villager kills, though, here as Tim goes down to 38 vills.
You're absolutely right. This raid is not meant to fully destroy Tim right now, because we have to keep in mind that these elephants are Malay elephants, so they're quite cheap, but also they are not the strongest. And right now we see that the monk is out there. They have an early momentum because they're so cheap. And this is what he did, using this momentum to get some villagers. Well done.
That was an excellent raid. That was at least 10 villagers down to those battle elephants. Malay battle elephants, please don't underestimate them. They're very, very strong, costing just barely more than a knight. And considering what you get, gonna pick off even more villagers. This could be another 5 villagers down if Tim is not paying any attention at all. Watchtower coming in for the Max. This raid is so huge for him. Gonna get one conversion, luckily, but this is such a big raid for him. Two trebuchets coming out for CL, and again, they'll be able to do so much damage here. We have like nothing to stop this trebuchet, nothing to stop this castle. Villese is, you know, he might be dying pretty shortly. He's got a lot of villagers, but he's gonna lose a lot of infrastructure to these trebuchets. Certainly not anywhere up near getting up to the next age. And, you know, hopefully his ally Tim will be able to stop these raids.
I mean, he managed to get some conversions over there, therefore he's able to push back now. Still, the damage has been dealt to him, you know, heavily. He lost so many villas there. And he will eventually get rid of the whole raiding thing, but he's been so damaged. I'm not sure if they will succeed there.
Well, the question here is, what do you want? Do you want map control? Do you want to take out your opponent's infrastructure, which the Chinese team is doing? Or do you want raw villager numbers, which the Finnish team has? By far. These are huge discrepancies as far as the assets that these players have. Which position do you prefer in this game right now?
It's tricky because CL is getting really strong there with this trebuchets. I say that actually the Max is again shining with this economy there, therefore his villagers, the villager number is really important in this case. At the same time, the problem is that yeah, Villese will not be able to fight off CL anytime soon, and therefore it seems that the Chinese players are in a good position here.
So the Max and Tim both getting coinage. I assume they'll both be starting to sling. So we're down essentially to a 1 versus 1 between CL and Villese. Do you agree with this decision to sling?
Decision to sling? Well, slinging always helps, but I'm not sure if... Really not sure, man. I'm really not sure. Because at the moment, I said it's 1v1 at the moment, but at the same time Tim is trying to push back with his converted units there. He has a decent amount of battle elephants there going into the base of the Max now. While Villese is building up a little TC over there. That's interesting. So Really, I'm telling you, it's more like CL and TM and Tim actually winning important fights here.
A little bit of a misclick. I think Villese wanted to pick ballistics and was instead researching heavy heated shy. I think he just canceled it. But interestingly, Villese with Sling is going into Slingers. Oh, wow. And not into the Eagle Warrior, which I would have expected. He's got tons of resources. You need to be able to spend this as a Slinger. And, yeah, so, I mean, the Max's Sling should be much more effective than Tim's Sling. We'll have to see. It depends on these army compositions. CL has cleaned up all of the base of Villese, so it just needs to push in a little bit further. Do you think these Slingers are going to be effective?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. To be honest, I think... I mean, they're to be seen as hand cannoneers, right?
Basically.
And they will be able to kill those Kamyuks. At the same time, the armor composition is not solely consisting of Kamyuks, right? There are, first of all, of course, there are trebuchets, there are also mangonels, and those monks. So
I don't know. I think we might see. I think these Slingers might be more effective than CL gives them credit for. Okay. Should be okay against monks, trebuchets, and I don't see a whole hell of a lot of counter for Slingers in the Inca army composition. The best thing I would think of is maybe Arbalest or Onager, and neither we see are from CL.
I mean, okay, we can see it now. CL is going back. He's retreating. He doesn't want to lose any more units over there. So probably they're more effective than I thought.
Yeah, so CL's going to have to go back. Remember, CL needs to do some good damage here. There's a big discrepancy in the villager numbers here. Needs to definitely keep up this castle. Is going to bring his trebuchets over. Luckily, the trebuchets should be safe, as long as they're next to that castle. And should win this treb battle and keep pushing in. Maybe CL doesn't even need a regular army. His castles are so cheap. There's so little room to work on this map that pushing in with castles might be effective in itself. But CL not able to get that next castle up due to the map presence.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And now Villese taking into lead Eagle Warrior. If he could get this transition underway with siege rams, this might be the end of the game for CL and the end of the series for them. And the end of the tournament for them. So that's not going to be good for them. So CL needs to come up with some sort of counter to this army composition. It's going to be Slinger and Eagle Warrior and siege ram.
Interesting composition indeed.
Yeah, and I say that as if there is a counter to that. The best counter to that is probably making that on your own, but the problem is that you're behind and also your economy is not as strong as the other players. All that said, that has flipped a little bit as Villese has lost a lot of villagers, and now the villager numbers are much more even. They're almost exactly even now.
Yeah.
But for CL to take this back with the disadvantaged army, he's going to have to take some very smart fights. And maybe do some good raiding too.
Now let's also see what Tim is actually about to do. He placed a castle on the right hand side of Max base. He's attempting to go further even more by placing towers. But I'm not sure if this is going to be decisive here in this matchup.
Yeah, the script has flipped a little bit. The villager numbers are now pretty even. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Chinese team gaining an advantage here. The military advantage is for the Finnish team, and they have the momentum right now. However, they need to keep it because they are running out of space.
That's true. The space thing is really important because they get surrounded really easily at the moment. And there are also knights on the left-hand side, but they got just eliminated over there. So they're able to expand their territory now to the left-hand side, Villese and Max.
Yeah, and they absolutely need to, not only for space, for farms, for buildings, but also for the extra golds and stones, which are all on that left side of the map as well. The Max trying to go up with a tower here, and Villese actually going to deny this castle from Tim. That's a pretty big blow. These knights may be able to stop it, but we have more towers coming up. So this is going to be a pretty close castle. Make sure you're using push to talk if you're talking, Demi Red.
Oh no, no, I was just looking at how all of this is evolving at the moment.
So castle coming up from Tim. Luckily was able to get that up. That's pretty big for him. But they're losing ground towards the middle of the map, losing a lot of buildings. I don't know if they're going to have the momentum to push this back. We're going to see one big fight with Eagle Warriors. They certainly could probably get a good engagement on these Slingers, as a lot of the Eagle Warriors are all over the place for Belize. And now might be the time to start picking off some of the army little by little with these Eagle Warriors for CL.
Exactly. Just looking at what CL is actually up to do. He's trying to secure his, their part of the map. He's placing a castle in the back, in the middle of the map, to be honest. And he's getting out his own eagles as well. So we can expect some raiding from both sides taking place very soon.
This game is so delicate. It could go either way depending on one fight. Eagle Warriors going to pick off the Trebuchets. Will there be any Eagle Warriors left to escape, though, with all those Slingers attacking? Trebuchet's going to go down. CL needs to keep his army numbers up, as well as keep that castle alive. And we have a siege ram coming in as well. That siege ram might be the end of that castle.
Oh yeah, it will happen.
Yeah, and CL gonna lose all of his Eagle Warriors into Velise's base.
But he gets up his courier's tech.
Yeah, importantly got up the courier's tech, and that's a big advantage right now. That is +2 pierce armor, +1 melee armor. That's pretty decent. Over in the north, Tim does have a good control of the north side of the map. Over in the north, there is an extra stone. There's notably an extra gold mine. So they should be okay for gold right now. I know they still don't have a ton from looking at the map earlier, and I don't see them mining a ton.
Yeah.
But they'll be okay for gold. Both teams really hurting for gold because all the resources are being contested. They're all being raided. Certainly Tim doing a lot with his Castle Age Knights. And that might be the difference in this game.
I like what Tim actually did there. He placed 2 castles on the left-hand side in order to prevent Velize and Max expanding to the left-hand side even more to get control over the resources there. So it's actually well done by Tim.
And another castle from Tim right on top of the stone. He does not want to lose control of that stone. Maybe that's the castle that decides the game if they're able to hold all other positions, because there's 2 golds there and a big stone. I see the bigger army for Velize and the Max, but it's hard to tell because of the resource difference. There's a little bit of gold in the Max's base, but that might go away. Really hard to tell. Velize and the Max might be running out of resources.
But most importantly, what you see on the right-hand side is that Velize is actually attempting to enter Tim's base. So Tim is actually losing a lot at the same time, one could think. But at the same time, he has his second base on the left-hand side as well. Therefore, he will survive this one. But still, the Eagles are inside his base on the right-hand side. The base is infested, so to speak.
Yeah, all the castles and all the villagers and all the military on the left side does nothing for defending the right side, so that's a weakness in his base. Tim going to drop down to 90 villagers now. Certainly a very close match. This is probably, I think, the most entertaining. Well, all of these games have been very entertaining, but this game is very entertaining in that I can't really tell who's winning, who's losing, who will win. And over in the middle of the map, we see CL taking a very good engagement against Velise's Eagle Warriors. Meanwhile, raiding still going on a little bit in Velise's base. Looks like it's been cleaned up mostly. Villager number now. Let's look at population. It's probably a better stat.
Yeah.
170, 110, 120. Sorry, 130, 130. So just about even. Are they going to be able to stop this Eagle raid coming in from CL though? It looks like this is going to be a close one. If Velize is not able to stop this Eagle raid will be absolutely devastating. Remember, it's a little bit different here. When the Finnish team raids the Chinese team has villagers everywhere. When the Finnish team raids, they just don't. Their Eagle Warriors can be efficient and just kill all the villagers everywhere. I see tons of idle villagers where the gold mine used to be. For the Finnish team, this final fight on top of this hill could be the one that ends the game.
Yeah. Also important to note is that CL sold all of his stone. gained some gold by that. And Tim did the same and gave all of his golds to CL. Therefore, he will have a lot of eagles to pump out. And this will be really crucial, I guess. This one is nearly impossible to stop now because the eagles from CL are just coming and coming. They're not stopping to be produced.
Yeah, Age of Empires is really a game about resource management, and things like that can win you or lose you the game. There's obvious advantages and disadvantages to selling your stone and using it for gold for Eagle Warriors right now, as opposed to castles. Right now, still no answer to the Slingers. I see them doing quite a bit of work, being basically untouched by the Eagles. And we'll see if these Eagles are eventually going to be able to pick off these Slingers. No, it looks like CL's going to go back for now, maybe aim for the trebuchet. We'll see. And going to go for the trebuchet now. Going to lose a lot of Eagles in the process, but, you know, does get the trebuchet. And castle coming up from CL. 2 towers coming up from the Max. May be able to deny this. This is a really critical castle.
Yeah.
Eagle Warriors coming in from CL too.
Oh, it doesn't look good for the Max.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the Max. Those towers will be very distracted with all the Eagles running around, so the Max will have to target fire those villagers. Castle's up on like 90%, almost. Might want to send some more villages here. Those are Inca villagers. Finally, we get to see that bonus in use, but those villagers are very tanky right now. And up goes the castle. So pretty devastating castle. That'll be a great place for CL to retreat to if ever he takes a bad engagement. And right now, I think it's got to be the resource game right now. The Max and Villese, they have to be running out of gold. I see them. I see the Max mining heavily 1 gold, but does not have access to the gold up and stone at the top. However, they are working on it with the trebuchet. If Tim can maybe take out a few trebuchets and keep this castle alive, that might be the game.
Again, some stone being sold and some gold transfer.
Trebuchet taking down the town center of the Max. That'll be 1 less stone they have to work with.
Unfortunately, the trap that was attempting to take down the castle failed.
Yeah, it goes down, and those castles, both those castles will stay up. No more resources for the Max and Villese. You need to have enough space on Nomad and enough resources. And what a play. What a play from the Chinese team, going all in aggressive, taking great map control, and really defending. It looked like for a second there, Villese with the Slinger transition was going to be able to do it, but no. Great map control from the Chinese players.
Yeah. I mean, you have to keep in mind they were playing so passively in the beginning, right? Walling themselves up. And we thought, okay, this will be a misplay. But it turned out that they went out really aggressively. And then, from that point, they kept on pushing. Really well done.
Man, what a series so far. It's only fitting that these number 6 and number 7 seed go on to the final game.
Yeah, now it's gonna be hidden free choice of civs. No civs used in game 1, 2, plus 3.
Here we go. Game will be starting very soon. Glad everyone is able to join us for these games. We're now up to 420 viewers.
Wow.
It's probably been a long time since we had this viewer number on the Vooble official channel. Glad everyone is here to join us.
Yeah.
I will have to go soon after the game is concluded, so I should say right now, thanks again everyone joining us. We'll be streaming more of this Nomad Battlegrounds tournament in the very near future, and more of the Hunt's Legacy tournament once that gets started. I'm Nobody. I'm joined by Demise Red. We are a community channel. We have you know, several casters that that cast with us, and we're getting things up and rolling as far as infrastructure for the channel. And yeah, we're welcoming any more new volunteer casters that would like to you know, do a little bit of good for the community and help cover these amazing events. I'm not exactly sure what other casters are covering these events right now. I haven't checked Twitch in a while, but some of these games have not been getting as much exposure as they have, and these are some excellent, excellent games, and it would be a shame if we were not here to cast them. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And yes, Puffy fan, these are live games. I have to say, so far in this tournament, that's been my favorite game, that last game. It's not very many games where you... There's some games where you know that a player has a, or team has a slight advantage. Mm-hmm. And, you know, but it's still a very close game. In this game, I just didn't know who had the advantage most of the game. And that makes it really entertaining for me as an experienced caster when I don't even know who's going to win this game. So many different advantages and disadvantages to the positions on the map. To the resources, to, you know, the army compositions and everything like that.
Yeah, that's true indeed. It was really, really close. I also like Game 3, to be honest, with this epic comeback of the Max. But all in all, really, really close matches. I liked it so far.
Alright, so we're just waiting for the players to start the game. They're probably choosing their civilizations. There's so many civilizations that we see in this tournament that it's kind of hard to say which are the best civilizations that have not been picked. Notable exceptions, we have not seen the Vikings played. We have not seen the Indians played. We have not seen the Celts. Huns. What do you think are... Well, the Huns are pretty bad Nomad Civ, I think. So what civilizations do you think we'd see?
Good question. I mean, Indians and Vikings could be an option, right? Indians being top tier concerning everything economic-wise and also later in the game military-wise. Vikings really good on water. Could be something like this. Why not? But who knows? Maybe someone will choose the Burmese or something. Could also happen, right? Something.
Oh, did we not see the Burmese yet? Yeah. Yeah, the Burmese would be a top choice. I would go Burmese Indians, Burmese Vikings. Probably be top choices.
Burmese, yeah, with Indians would be insane.
Someone say in the chat, Mayans, Koreans. Koreans we have not seen yet, and that would be, I would not be surprised to see Koreans in the pick there.
Koreans, oh man.
Alright, so we've got 50 seconds, and we'll be starting this next game. And give your guesses in the chat for which civilizations you think you'll see. We'll see who is correct. Here we go.
Let's go. Okay.
Hello everybody and welcome to the game deciding match between TheMax+Villese versus Tim and CL, our number 6, our number 7 seed, who will go on to win and go on to the next round and have a great shot at that 1,500 total prize pool. This is the game-deciding match. I'm joined here by Demise Red, and my name is Nobody. And this is free choice of civilization. Any civs that you have not seen in the series so far. The choices are Mayans, Spanish, Malians, and Mayans again. What do you think about these civilizations?
Well, good one, good one. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Spanish. Not especially on Nomad or something like this, but I love some conk action. From scouts, first of all, you can do some early aggression, right? You can go do some scout action and go over to conks maybe. That's something that I really like. Malay, we've already talked about that. Also, really interesting choice. Cheap cavalry in the beginning, and later on, if it goes late game, we can see some pyramid action taking place maybe. But Mayans, I mean, they're to be considered also a really strong civilization, right? But my favorite would be Spanish in this case.
Yeah, certainly, especially with the Spanish player placing down their town center. We have Tim, the Spanish player, over on the top of the map, and his ally, bottom right, CL playing as the Mayans. We have some more interesting town center positions, as we kind of have an X this time. TheMax top left playing as the Mayans, and over in the bottom right we have yeah, we have Villese. We have Villese's sheep. Actually, Villese is on the bottom. My bad. We have more of that T shape that we saw earlier on this game. The orange sheep threw me off a little bit. So this position looks very similar to the position we saw in Game 2, where the middle player, which was Villese at the time, got completely wrecked. But luckily, the player in Tim's position was able to boom heavily and get a comeback in the game. We'll see if we see something similar. In this time, the middle player is the Mayans player, a pretty good feudal age civilization. Pretty good nomad civilization, too, with an extra villager. Tim playing as a Spanish, pretty good booming civilization, pretty good civilization to get a castle out. And shouldn't be too hard with Tim's position. So that is certainly going for them. What do you think about the Finnish team's positions?
Alright, let's see. So, the Max on the left-hand side of the map with the Mayans. If you look at his TC, it's quite decent, I say. I mean, it's close to the wood. I mean, he has some good wood, I was going to say. Also, the gold is fine. I mean, at least the gold on the right-hand side is fine. The one after that one is terribly close to blue, I would say. Also, he has some options on the north of this map. Also, that's a good choice. He has some deer, of course. That's always a good thing. Some berries close. So all in all, I would say it's an okay type of position with the deer and with the wood and gold. It's fine. And if we look at Villese, Mr. Orange on the south here, I like this one actually to a certain degree because yeah, the resources are close: gold, stone, wood, food, everything is there. But what's bad is that there's a hill right in front of his TC. If we look at Villese, and behind that hill there's CL. So if CL does it correctly, he could harass Villese quite heavily. So resource-wise, I like the position. But geographically speaking, with that hill, it's not the best thing considering the fact that CL is right there.
Well, one of the things I think of with the big hill between the two players at this rush distance is towers might be extremely effective. Once you get one up, it's going to be really hard to take it down. Maybe we'll see something like that, from especially from a Malay player. Another interesting thing, that dock is so close to Villese. If Villese wanted to, you could even tower the dock so that fishing ships could go from it, but you know, that's just a out-of-the-box suggestion there. Taking a look at the dock positions, 3 docks in the north, TheMax, Villese, and Tim. CL has his dock all the way in the south. So definitely a little bit of a disadvantage here in the north for the Finnish team. Tim can, of course, add another dock later on, so we'll see. And again, strategies here can vary. We could see fast castles from the Spanish player. We could, of course, see fast feudals from everyone if they want to go heavy onto the water. One of the things that you know, it determines your strategy might be your scouting information, and that's why teamwork is very important with your opponents and flaring the map. We see a little bit of laming from CL, but you know, your strategy decision can really change the game if you go fast feudal or you go fast castle. So that can really depend.
Yeah, that's true indeed. But as you've mentioned, CL is in the very same position as Villese was, so this kind of sandwich type of thing, right? Actually, that's a huge disadvantage for him. Tim will be the one teammate who will need to save the day for CL then, if you look at this position.
One thing I want to point out when casting these is really to appreciate the skill level of these players on Nomad. You know, again, decision making can really, you know, that's really one thing that sets a player like myself apart from these teams. Decision making, going fast, feudal, what strategies to go for. But as a caster, I kind of neglect a little bit that Fog of War button because I assume a little bit with these high-level players that they know where their opponent's dock positions are, know where their opponent's town centers are through their teamwork and their combined scouting. And for the most part, able to get away with that because they are so damn good at playing Nomad and understanding the maps and stuff like that. So I kind of get away a little bit with that as a caster. But for the most part, I think these players know exactly what's going on and exactly where their opponents are, even though their scouting information may be somewhat incomplete. Feudal Age coming for Villese, fast feudal from him, fast feudal from Tim as well. The Max, something in between. I'm going to check his resources. Yeah, the Max going for a fast castle, and even going to wall up a little bit. Now, this wall is not giving CL a lot of space to work with. In fact, even going to mine that stone there, which could, with towers, make that space even worse to work with. Going to wall out one of those golds. Tower coming up. No, my bad. Outpost coming up from Villese. Not a tower yet. But I think we should see a tower coming up right away, and Villese is absolutely aware of where CL is now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, there we go, villagers coming forward for the tower. Oh boy. Oh boy. CL, why did you have to click up so late? You're in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah, this doesn't look really good. Now he goes for the stone as well in order to build some counter towers. Maybe he should have built a counter tower before building that mining camp. Now he's in a disadvantage there.
Yeah, not able. Well, he's not in the next age, so not able to build one yet. I'm sure that CL is not suspecting a tower on that wood line yet because he has not scouted it that much. Just that little bit of a black area there. Gonna build an outpost here because suspecting a tower might come up around this point, but it's already too late.
Exactly, and this tower is well placed by Villese.
That tower is absolutely devastating.
Perfect tower.
Where in the world is CL going to go? Where is he going to go for wood? This is bad news for CL. Will is saying in the chat that Blue will have a free boom into Conquistadors, so this is definitely a deadly threat later on into the game. Let's take a second look at the fish as the fish battles are going on. The water battles, I suppose. Villese killing some of the fishing ships of CL. And Villese moving with some fishing ships of his own. Remember, in the spectator dashboard, you can see the total fish numbers. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
And second tower coming up from Villese just to solidify that position. Already, CL going to another mining camp, but look at this! The Max is here also. I'm going to drop a tower here also. No doubt they're communicating in whatever voice channel they have, and... Or maybe the Max could just see that, but either way, CL is still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's actually well done by Villese and the Max. Now, yeah, CL has...
Oh my god! Look at the gold for CL. CL's gonna lose some villagers on this gold, lose a lot of wood on that house. Gonna get walled in. CL is dead! He's dead! Oh, poor guy. Play the funeral song, please. Or the maybe the Titanic song. Whatever your preference is. But CL already, 16 minutes of the game, moving north. Gonna rely on Tim. Maybe goes into full sling mode. Who knows? Maybe delete. Just delete your town center, man. And start this game over.
Just get over with it. Oh. Terrible.
Yeah, horrible start from a CL. Makes you appreciate when Villese held in game 2 and was able to hold that position for so long. A little bit. It's not as easy as it looks. Players going up to the Castle Age. The Max, really fast in the Castle Age. Looks like Tim must have invested into water. Or he's had a really bad fast castle. Either one. but he's not up in a very good time. The max 600 stone in the bank will go up with a castle right away for Plumed Archers. Plumed Archers can definitely hold their own against Conquistadors, so that's a definite good thing for their civilization.
Exactly, they can.
And a little bit of a tower battle here between CL and Villese as they fight over that stone. Villese will win this tower battle, and it'll be yet another blow to CL.
At the same time, CL has a chance in order to do some more tower action in the base of Villese himself. I mean, if you look at his, if you look at Villese's base, you see that there's a tower of CL on the right-hand side, and from there he could actually move to other directions in order to, you know, harass him with towers himself. Also an option.
Yeah, he could definitely move around in the south and attack that wood line. The problem is that Villese can just move to another wood line, and also the villagers that would have to build the tower are the ones that are mining the stone. So
oh yeah,
that would take away from a little bit of that stone income.
Yeah, unfortunately it's like that, because he had a lot more villagers in stone there earlier, a couple of minutes ago, and then he decided to move away. And now he's taking back those villagers now. They're coming back, and now we have a clash over there at the stone of Villese.
Yeah, it looks like CL will win this tower battle if it gets to it. Not enough HP on the tower from Villese, at least from my experience, I think. Yeah, I think I should be correct here. That tower should be way faster from CL as well. There's a tower under the base there. Oh, but it's in range of the tower. That might be a dead villager. And yeah, it looks like CL should win this tower battle. Will lose 3 villagers on his own, though. That's a lot, actually. And that was another misplay from CL. CL cannot afford any more misplays at this stage. It's hard to say if he's misplayed it early on or just been unlucky. But, you know, certainly losing 3 villagers has not been great here. So, other players up in the Castle Age. Tim, only 27 villagers. Let's see a hell of a lot from him. TheMax going with his first castle, and he's already on 2 town centers. Villese making coinage, and Villese will now sling the Mayan player. This used to be a classic strategy in Age of Conquerors, sling the Mayan player. It's not as strong anymore because the Mayans are not as strong, and slinging is not as strong anymore, but still should be a very strong strategy here.
Exactly, and we see the first conch outside, 2 conchs now from Tim. And let's see where he will go with that. He goes and approaches Villese now, and maybe he's able to snipe off some vills at the stone.
Yeah, I like this decision to sling, honestly, from the Finnish team, from the Malay player, because what do you need to defend from conchs? You don't need Castle Age army. You need towers. Towers you're able to access in Feudal Age. A sling to the Mayans can be very effective. Again, Plumed Archers can be very effective as raiders and against conquistadors. Also, as a Malay player, you can still build your economy fairly strong if you keep adding docks, which are of course available in the Feudal Age. So I think it's a pretty good decision. And we haven't been able to pay too much attention to the water, but again, take a look at the spectator dashboard, and you can see I'm gonna miscount this. 14 fishing ships for our Finnish team, and 2 fishing ships for the Chinese team. This has been something, I think it's been a theme of this series, is that the Finnish team has been consistently winning the water.
Yeah, which is good for them, of course. That's a lot of food there that comes extra, and huge disadvantage for Tim and CL.
Yeah, and I'm really liking this sling strategy to the Mayans player. Certainly, the Mayans players should be up in a good time. Their castles are fairly close together, so a trebuchet would be good at that point. Let's give that a little bit more time to develop. First thing first, need to defend from these conquistador raids. The castle will do a good job at that initially. Yep. We'll need to see some more plumed archers. Really don't see enough plumed archers yet from the max, only up onto 3.
The max does well by walling off his base.
That was so important for him.
Yeah.
Preventing those conquistadors from raiding.
Exactly. Yeah, and CL doesn't stop to commit into his towers. He's building more towers.
Where is the Max's plumed archers, though? He's still only on 3. Are these guys getting any gold income from anywhere?
Not sure.
Yeah, Villese not mining a hell of a lot of gold. Oh, he's gonna get hit hard by these Conquistadors' gates coming up way too late. And he's gonna lose a ton of villagers. Villese is actually not able to mine gold because of the tower of CL. So that tower's pretty devastating because the Max is not mining gold. The Max is not able to make plumed archers right now. And this Conquistador is going to move around on the south. They will probably die if they want to get out of there because of all these towers and town centers here. But Villese's sling is basically non-existent as most of his economy is stuck in towers and not working. Meanwhile, the Max starting to mass up some plumed archers now, maybe using a little bit of the market with all the stone income that he's got. And 2 monks coming out. They'll have to defend from this raid. This has been a great raid for Tim. And good damage done from CL with this tower, so definitely trying to take it back in this game. However, that fish disadvantage is pretty big. And Tim will lose these Conquistadors here as well.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, Max goes for them now. And yeah, he will most likely lose them if they attack the Conks down the south of Villese map.
And let's see how many conversions the Max is able to get. Every conversion, of course, is big. Gonna miss 1 there, and gonna miss 2 there. Those monks taking their sweet time trying to get their religious arguments for why you should join the Mezzo, the Mayans. But regardless, those Conquistadors should get cleaned up by the town center here. And maybe 1 or 2 gets out alive. Coinage being done from CL. He's gonna sling his ally a bit more. Yeah, sling Tim, which makes sense at this stage for him. He's basically got nothing going for him. I'm very surprised, actually, that CL did not just delete his town center and go someplace else with it. Like, I suppose, like, that reminds me of, like, the Patrick meme. You should take Bikini Bottom and move someplace else. But regardless, let's get back to Age of Empires. And, yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just delete his town center there.
Uh-huh.
And gonna lose some more villagers here. You want as many villagers as possible for the sling.
Oh man,
and it's like a doubt tower, I suppose. Up goes the tower, and not a hell of a lot was accomplished with it, but a lot of villagers died for it. So both of our stronger players gonna get slung. Let's take a look at their resources, see if there's any developments there. The Max almost ready to click into the Imperial Age. Tim quite a ways away, not a lot of food income at all. 50 villagers for him, 90 villagers for the Max.
Yeah, that's a significant difference then, numbers. Also no fish, no more fish at all, ever since.
The only thing I would say, maybe disadvantage here is that, you know, so the Finnish team has a lot of more villagers, but less map control and less access to gold. I don't see them mining any gold at all. Except for the main one in Villese's base. So this is a very similar situation to last game. Of course, the civilizations are different, the positions are slightly different, but it's similar in the dynamics a little bit.
Yeah, which is true. I mean, Tim is now trying to drop one more castle in front of Max's base, so he's able to produce more of the conks if he wants to. But at the same time, Max is just holding on. He does it on purpose because he will click up. He's about to reach Imperial Edge actually in a couple of minutes, and he will commit more into plumed archers, as we see that he gets leather archery armor. Therefore, we will see some more plumed archers action.
The question for me is, will Tim be able to hold these castles up for the next, I don't know, 3-4 minutes as he clicks up to the Imperial Age? It's going to be hard. I don't believe Spanish villagers repair any faster. It's going to be hard to hold against 2 trebuchets, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Tim lose both these castles. At that point, once losing 2 castles, will a Cavalier transition be effective?
Which is true indeed. I mean, only with Kongs you will not manage to fight off this Mayan player.
Oh man, though. This seems like something that's very small in this game, but it's really not. CL winning this tower battle. I did not expect him to win this tower battle at all, and he did. And that is the last gold for the Finnish team. Unless I'm wrong. I'm looking all around the map. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. There's a gold in the north, but it's still not a lot of gold. But
Still, it's not a lot. You're right.
there's more gold there. I'm wrong. Try to hype up the game a little bit, you know? Oh, there's gold everywhere. There's gold for days.
Everywhere.
You never know on Nomad. The resources are everywhere. But yeah, this is looking not great for the Frantic team. Let me put it that way.
Yeah,
At the very least, Villese is looking very bad also. Villese is 37. I mean, you say that in the chat, but CL is not looking good either. CL is at 27 villages, so
yeah,
not a big difference here. The Max seems to like his Malay fishing too. I wouldn't be... Oh, sorry, he's Mayans. But he's got a great fish boom too, so his economy is set.
true. And like you've said it, Tim is actually... Oh no, he's still going for Kongs. He gets leather archer armor and husbandry. I thought with husbandry maybe he wants to go for some cavalier. But no, leather archer armor. He will stay with the Kongs. For now, I guess.
He needs something right now. I don't disagree with investing a few more resources into them, but he's going to have to transition. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. The problem is that these plumed archers will get stronger and stronger. They now have +4 attack. They're really just missing the elite upgrade and maybe thumb ring. But they should be able to stand a pretty good chance against these conquistadors. You can see how much more damage they do against conquistadors now than before. And taking a pretty even resource-wise engagement against the conquistadors. Might even win it here, actually. No, pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like this decision at all. I mean, he gets out a mangonel now, which is a bit too late, in my opinion. At the same time, the unit choice, I'm not very convinced of this. I mean, siege is always good against archery type of units, but a little bit too late. And just one mangonel there against plumed archers who are really dynamic, who are really fast, which you can micro with really fast and really efficiently against mangonels. Therefore, not really convinced by Tim's decisions here at the moment.
Max is a very smart player. He's already transitioning to halberdiers because he knows that a Spanish player is going to have to transition. However, might be playing a little greedy, and the castle hasn't gone down, and there's the GG.
Oh.
Finnish team is going to take this. What an excellent series. It's only fitting that it went 2-2, and now it's 3-2. What an excellent series. What are some points of this game, and maybe the series overall?
Well, I mean, with this game, specifically with this match, I cannot tell too much, but especially last two games were really, really intense, right? And we saw that both teams tried to do their best. They invested heavily into their actions. There were some major comebacks as well, and it was really, really close matchups. And I guess the last two matches before this one, I mean, I'm talking about game 3 and 4, they were really intense, and both teams actually want to decide it for themselves with those matches.
This has just been an incredible series. This has been an incredible tournament. I'm so glad I came in at the right time to cast this tournament.
Oh yeah.
And so glad we've had 450 viewers with us today. Please stay tuned. There's many more series from this tournament. We still have some more semifinals matches to go. We have the finals, of course. Just excellent tournament overall. Thanks again to Racer FXX for hosting this. Thanks again to the players and everyone. Thanks for joining me, Demise Red. We'll be seeing you again soon. Welcome. And do you have any final thoughts on your first cast here?
Well, to be honest, I'm glad that it worked out that well, because in the beginning, the very first match that we had was gladly re-mans. I messed it up so much in the beginning, but oh no, I'm still so happy that I was given the opportunity to present myself here, to work with you, especially Nobody. It was really, yeah, I mean, the first time that we worked together, and so far I liked it. And I hope it was not the last time, and I'm really grateful for Woobly and all the people who are responsible for this. Shoutouts to Jera, thanks to Nobody, of course, and big shoutouts also to the tournaments people, I mean especially Racer here in this case. I'm really appreciating everything here, and thanks for the people for watching. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate all your support. Again, we're getting everything up and running for the stream. These are, I think we've seen now 5 different people on this stream. We've seen Willis, myself, you, Influenza, and Katsuni as well within the last probably 2-3 weeks, and we'll be seeing more as more people join and you know, just get the word out that Woobly Official is now back and up and running. Yeah. And you know, we're certainly very committed to the channel now. And again, everyone here, just please make sure to follow us wherever on social media, follow on YouTube, and and to also follow the Age of Empires calendar. We do post when we stream the next matches on AOE Zone and on the AOE calendar, which is updated regularly. So that way you can see the next set of games, whenever that will be. It seems like Sunday is a very popular time, the Sunday morning. I know I'm available now. We'll probably see some stuff during the weekdays as well. Make sure to follow the channel and get notified through email when we go live. And thanks, everyone. If you're interested in joining us and want to get some casting experience, I am doing some mentoring as well if you are interested in contributing. And otherwise, I'll see everyone in the next series. Thanks, everyone, for being with me, and we'll find someone to host.
All right, thanks, everyone.
All right, so we can host... All right, I'm going to host someone right here. And see everyone next time.
Bye.